Hello.
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The chat is working on the new interface. Oh, yeah.
Good, good,
We
good.
love it. We love it.
How's the audio chat room?
Oh, it looks like they said, is there supposed to be sound yet?
Oh no, really? Hello?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
1 second. Oh, okay. Chubby Kumquat can
Oh,
hear.
okay, good. It was
The
probably
Jewel can
was there
hear.
no audio in the hold screen? There was supposed to be audio, but I may have fucked that up.
Yeah, there was supposed to be music, but
So the music was supposed to be from that that website Carmen's World. I'm quiet. All right. Good.
oh yeah, you're a little quiet.
Um so yeah, so hello. It is the Dr. Devon Price's internet show featuring
Welcome to my
producer
web
Madeline.
page.
Yep. Oh
And
my!
special guest.
I need to be the webmaster. Okay, and
Yeah, you're the webmaster.
webmistress, and featuring
Web mixers.
special guest who just walked away, Eric. Um,
Yes.
he'll be right back.
All right. Yes, and here is our guest, fragrance expert and fellow writer Eric Boyd, who's
Hello.
putting sauce on some kind of sandwich or something right now. Just really settling in. Full
What are
course
you
chicken dinner.
what are you consuming? You have to share that with us.
Uh, BD12.
Oh yeah, I think he just
Some
took some pills.
Oh,
some nootropic.
are you on that nootropic kick?
One was supposed to be good for when you're kind of riding off of Vyvanse. Um,
Mm. Oh
then
yeah.
pastrami on rye and pumpernickel
Fuck yeah.
That sounds good.
with Swiss.
Hell yeah. I had a Monte Cristo this weekend, and I had which that's like the bread is like French toast, and then it's like ham and Swiss and turkey. I hadn't had one of those in a minute, and it was very nice.
Banger.
Very good, savory sweet
The
combination.
There's the one. It's almost like I think it's a ham sandwich, but basically cooked in French bread. Like you
Mm,
dip the sandwich in egg and fry it.
fuck yeah.
Um,
I love that shit.
so yeah, this is first of all we'll get out of the way the new digs, the new web
Yes.
page. So this
The
is
new
what
overlay.
I've been working on over the weekend. If you follow me on Tumblr, you may have seen the um I shared a link to Carmen's World, which is an extremely good website. Why don't we actually pull that up? Here, I can show that off just in case anyone didn't see that. Which was a huge inspiration on this. Oh, that's not right.
Mhm. Oh, and I love the little VCR at the bottom of the fucking overlay
Yeah,
when you're
because we're gonna be
sharing
watching
screen.
videos.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my god. Oh wow, and it's transparent. Wow.
Yeah, I the
It's
one thing about
amazing.
all of these old gifs is how the transparency just works, and I'm like, they don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, and it makes no sense that it would work better than modern
Yeah.
technology, but I'll take it.
Oh my god. Here, go back. I'll actually find this. But a lot of these GIFs come from a website called gifcities.org, which is an incredible website, which is hosted by the Internet Archive, are powered by the Internet Archive. I think they made it too. And it is basically a search engine of you type words in and GIFs from GeoCities comes up because Internet Archive has saved all of GeoCities that existed right before it got deleted in 2009, I think. Um, and it is just incredible. We unfortunately cannot show that website because there is porn in that. And it just kind of comes up randomly.
Very
But
beautiful vintage porn.
yeah, it's an extremely good website that I highly... Please go to that website. Oh, is it really? The stream title is
The
still not...
Internet Archive is the best.
Okay, let me.
Um,
Oh yeah, I can fix it right now.
okay, I definitely changed... Oh, you know what? I changed it and then didn't hit save. Is definitely what...
Wow.
I don't know why I can't find this website right now, but...
Just chatting. Boop. Okay, but fragrance is a tag, so make that make sense.
Yeah, that is weird.
Weird. I'm still looking a little bit fuzzy, right? Is it okay if I just like exit and come back in just in case?
No, you're looking great to me.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Well,
it just
alright,
fixed
never mind then.
itself.
Yeah, maybe it's just on my side.
No flirting, Maddie.
I mean, so yeah, I love the GeoCities aesthetic because it is so like it's just
so
people figuring out how an entirely new fucking art form, how we were gonna do that shit, and that's kind of what it feels like when I get on OBS.
Yeah, yeah, it has that raw, unfinished quality where you can do anything with it. So how are you supposed to know what you're supposed to do and what looks good or bad?
Right. Yep.
You know, there's no
It's
rules.
fair. It's fair. Don't worry about my auto. You don't really need to hear me at all. No, nobody gives a shit what I have to say.
No, well, you're the one who knows the most about fragrances here,
Yeah,
so.
we need to.
Oh, I love that we can see the Discord controls.
Yeah, you can literally see it.
Yeah. So now you can like if one of us really like needs to be put in timeout, you can just so everyone can see just drag the...
Yeah, we're just.
So
we're-
anyway, I was saying and you know, sometimes you really do just need to make your bed and
God, that's perfect. I want to just full on Kratos at the Game Awards. That's a relevant joke. That's a timely joke.
timely.
Poor Al Pacino just standing there. He don't even know what the fuck's happening. He doesn't know where he is.
I'm
why
not
he's
sad
there.
about that, man. I'm sure his payday was great.
Oh man, compared to like Keanu Reeves with Cyberpunk, where it's like he understands all he needs to understand.
You're
Taking part in
breathtaking.
this. You're breathtaking. Oh,
And thank you,
I love
but
it.
actually, thank you. It's for our. I definitely noticed when I was watching the stream from the last stream that I think maybe it was only at the end. Devin, you were like way quieter. I didn't mean to do that. So please, if there's any audio stuff, I can't really totally. I can't mostly. I can't hear my own audio in relation to everything, but audio
Yeah.
audio help is always appreciated. Never be. I really appreciate that stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, this is the fragrance stream is what this actually is. So we have yeah, I shouldn't be the one to introduce it. Somebody else, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Sure. Yeah, so we're coming at this from kind of three very different levels of familiarity with fragrance. I've kind of been, in the smell fandom for a couple of years now. Eric knows definitely the most about it and was kind of my mentor in getting into fragrance world. And then Maddie is brand new to this stuff, so a lot of this stuff will be, completely new for her, which is part of why we chose the collection that we chose, which is from a little website called the Perfumed Court, which that's a site that sells decants, so just kind of like small rebottlings, little sample sizes for the most part of fragrances. And so this is their 12 months of scent collection. So it's a bunch of samples. Yes, beauty
Wow, that
influencer
actually
hand.
worked.
Yeah, where it did help it focus. So it's just a
Wow.
collection of little samples from a bunch of different fragrance houses, a bunch of different kinds of notes. Because a lot of times when you buy a sampler from, if you want to just buy a collection of samples, it usually all comes from one company, and it's just their collection of samples of their fragrances, or it's like collections around a particular note. Like Eric just bought a coffee fragrance collection that apparently
Oh,
sucked.
that fucking sucks so bad.
That's so disappointing too. I can't wait to try it
Hey,
though.
that's a great
So
segue though. But with the Perfumed Court, this is clearly just some person, in their attic, with thousands of bottles, just slowly pouring them into these little tiny vials.
hmm
And I don't know if you got it, but I always get it when I order from them. They send you a little coffee candy.
Oh, I didn't get
Oh,
one.
that's nice.
You
I didn't
didn't
get
get
one
that?
either. That
They
must be
always
you.
give me that.
It must be for you. Like they know you're a special. You're a special fragrance
No.
head.
If
Yes.
they are like you say, somebody in their attic, they are labeling your shit by hand, and
So
so they're
they
seeing your
recognize your
name. It's
name.
not. Yeah, it is the same person always doing it, and they probably see how if you're ordering with any regularity, they know your name and are putting that in there for you. Yeah, absolutely, that's what's happening. Because I didn't get one.
Totally.
Um,
Our boxes
that
were
is so
different
sweet.
too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, mine's a big gift box. So it really is just somebody cuz and when you place an order like within the next day. Okay, so Eric and I have a similar box. Even though Maddie, yours and ours I ordered at the same time. Um like when you order something off the Perfume Court, like after a day, it's like, okay, we've begun the decanting process, so you can't cancel this order. Which just means there's some guy going like, slurp, from a big bottle into a little vial. But he's begun decanting. So
Do we have any
Um,
what are people's fragrance knowledge in the chat, by the way?
yeah,
Do
yeah.
we
What's everybody wearing today?
Yes.
Give us your scent of the day. Your oot.
so we should probably have Frangrancio ready to roll.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's another helpful thing. Um, Fragrantia.
What? I don't even know what this is.
Fragrantica.com is like the fragrance reviewing website, and it's very old internet. It's beautiful. Like it looks like a
Oh, it's so
forum.
good.
That's the other thing that's very fun about the fragrance fandom. Honestly, is just reading people's reviews on Fragrantica.com. Yes, yes.
Especially when you start to see like the same thread over and over of just like, wow, people keep saying if you wear this, you're gonna get fucked. Like for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I bet
Or
that
like,
there's a big like weird pickup artist and fragrance head overlap. Is that true?
oh yeah, but that's like shitty. I don't know. I think people like that they're wearing really shitty
If it's
nostril
that,
burning mask
it's
fragrances.
the one that I smell from a mile away that I smell like a lot is probably Tom Ford Black Orchid. I smell
Mm.
that like all the time. And more than once, like just to make sure, like, oh, am I right? I was like, oh, is that Tom Ford? And I said, well, it's a dupe of it, but yeah.
Can you tell the
Yes.
difference?
Oh
I
yeah.
can't. I mean, it's I knew like, oh, this smells like this thing I always smell all the time.
Mm.
I'm
hmm
sure if you put them side by side, I could tell the difference.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Chubby Kumquat said, I don't know or wear fragrances. They often smell alcoholic to me. Is that just a cheap fragrance thing? It absolutely is. It absolutely is
Yes.
because what really distinguishes different types of fragrances, like an eau de toilette, is an alcohol based versus if something's made with perfume oil. And Eric knows some of the specifics better than me, but some have a coconut oil base. Which is like more vegan but cheap, and I really hate those. They really smell rancid to me, unfortunately, because I ordered a bunch of samples from Ciela, and all of theirs are coconut oil based, and so is I think Black Phoenix Alchemical Lab. They all smell rancid to me. But then as you move up, like in quality and expense, like if it's perfume oil, it's better
It,
quality.
and it's one of those things. It kind of sucks that when you get into the fragrance game, like designers are, yes, unbelievably overpriced, but at the end of the day, they can afford raw materials that you can't. Um,
Right.
So there's that. Usually, the niche perfumers are doing things that are really interesting that you would never smell. Like, someone like Blackbird out in, I think, Portland will do something that smells like bananas and a VCR. And that's
They're so
interesting.
amazing. They're Blackbird, and somebody mentioned them in the chat too. Who was that? Abby. Yeah, Blackbird. Eric put me on the fucking Cold Cave Death one. Maddie, you would probably like a lot of their fragrances because they're just very crazy and like cyberpunky and like sage and like tomb
Oh,
smell, like salty, brackish, moldy tomb smell. It's so fucking sick.
But
I
then a designer is probably just going to do like a rose, but they're going to do it better than anyone else can because they just have access to a material that nobody else has. A lot of times, like when you start talking about like Dior, it's literally copyrighted. Like they own those
yeah,
flowers. Nobody else in the world has them.
yeah,
Mm,
God,
yeah. Though there are some people that like what is it, Demeter, like they make very cheap fragrances that are like Play-Doh smell or like dirt smell or whiskey or whatever, single note. Often they're like really uncannily good. Like, oh, this does smell like fucking Play-Doh, but they have really low, longevity. So they, don't you don't smell it on your body for very long, and they have very low sillage, which is how like far away from you another person can smell it. Which actually low sillage isn't always a bad thing because you don't want to give people migraines and be obnoxious. But most fragrance heads think of it as more of a sign of quality if it has a wide sillage because they want to get compliments, they want to have their fragrances noticed. But if you're
Yeah. The
if you're considerate
trail
of it,
you leave.
right, yeah,
S-
that's considered desirable. But
so before we get too far into all of this, Eric, what is your what give us like your experience with fragrance? Like how long have you been in the game and how did you get into it and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Um, it was something I was always kind of vaguely interested in. Um, but I think the first time I can remember really caring about a fragrance was I was reading Playboy and it said, "Oh, this one is worn by Sylvester Stallone and Chevy Chase." I was like, "I'm in," and it was the corniest fucking fragrance. It's called Bijan. I still have it, and it's great. You smell like a used car salesman. Um,
mm,
it's just this big brash '80s power bomb. And ADHD was like, okay, so now you have to buy every single fragrance these people have ever made, even if they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
the
Um,
completionist
the
Yeah.
collection
impulse.
bug, yeah. And I was doing that for a minute, and then that turned into, well, they also did some perfumes for other houses, but as like a white label. So I have to track all those down. And that kept going and going. And then you start to realize most of these suck. Why don't I just get the ones I actually like? Um, so it went from there. The pandemic is what sealed the deal because one, there wasn't shit else to do in the house. And two, I was fucking mortified at the idea of losing my sense of smell. And
Interesting.
how people continue to write that off, I don't get it. Like I know people now who have, recently had COVID are like, "Oh yeah, everything just smells like garbage." It's like that's 20% of your entire human experience.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you just don't care. Like there are people who would kill to have that.
That's
Um,
Yeah.
so that terrified me. So I was like, well, I just have to get it all in because I'm gonna lose it and die and whatever else. So I just want to smell all the good things while I can.
that is a
Um,
very uh interesting like like I don't know thought to have about all of that stuff and very very right. I think that smell is weirdly um sort of like it's not taken seriously in a lot of different ways. Like I
Hmm.
think like fragrances in general is such like is not taken seriously for a huge variety of reasons, but like yeah, just how much you experience through smell is is very. I don't know why that
And
is. Why it's so like.
Yeah, it's so like below like conscious awareness a lot of the time. Like obviously, I think we all grew up learning that most of taste is actually scent, and I do remember like reading some journal articles that people who are completely anosmic, is that what it is when you can't smell? Anosmia, like that actually like they tend to be like pretty depressed. Like you're like have like muted emotions if you don't have a sense of smell, seemingly like because it is just this really visceral thing, and it's such a huge component of attraction too, and just so many other aspects of experience that I
well,
think we just don't
and
even notice it.
that anosmia is actually a big driver, I think, in that sort of addiction to become a fragrance head, because people talk about having a signature scent or, oh, I just throw this on every day before work. After a month, you can't smell it anymore. Maybe everyone
Right.
else around you can, but you can't. You're too used to it.
That's interesting.
And my understanding there, I might be totally wrong, but my understanding of that is your phasic nerve is what sort of controls the nose and the connection to the brain. And your sense of smell is basically a danger, alert. Say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I smell there's roadkill over there. That's unpleasant. I'm on high alert now. I know something, whatever killed that might be behind me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, we've probably all had that ex that didn't shower enough or owned too many dogs, and you're just like, well, it's not dangerous because that's my loved one. Um, and everybody else around you is like, wow, that's fucking rough, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you acclimate. And I
Yeah,
don't know if it's the same thing to like with like hot sauces that you actually part of how hot sauces work is you're killing taste buds. So I don't know if
Oh
when
wow.
we're when we be huffing these things if we're like killing
Nosebuds.
nose buds. But I think it's just
well,
attenuating the
yeah,
response.
it's that's why you gotta catch them all.
Hmm.
Um,
I,
and
And rotate.
Yeah, that's where you gotta rotate out. And that's where the more subtle pleasures of like a designer fragrance start to hit, because you're like, all right, I've smelled this type of thing before, but these people did it so much better, and you start to pick that up. Scents
And
used to give
unique
me real bad
combinations
headaches.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, you definitely want like a novel experience. Um, but I know a lot of people in the chat are going to be saying like, "Oh, fragrances give me terrible migraines and stuff," and that's obviously very valid. But once you start getting into it purposefully, that kind of disappears. Like I couldn't walk through a Macy's maybe 3 years ago without just like it would kill the rest of my day.
Hmm.
Now you can almost focus. Like you walk through a Macy's and you're like, oh, okay, that's shitty, but I like what's happening over there.
that's
Right. You can
Um,
sensory integrate and pick out different notes, which I think that's part of what it was kind of therapeutic for me with it too,
yeah,
um,
that's
is learning
really
to
interesting.
isolate
You
and parse through it.
because it's I'm almost seeing it like it's sensory, like scent is can be sensory overload just because it's so powerful. But when you learn, when you're like developing a, is there a word for palate? It, like a like the what would be like a,
Like a nose, I think.
basically palette. Yeah,
yeah,
just
Yeah.
or a
Yeah, you can
nose,
use palette.
palette.
like
Yeah.
learning all of the different things, and like you were saying, like being able to pick them out. It's like it's not a big strong, it's not one big strong smell anymore. It is a thousand like smaller smells, and that in itself is less overwhelming. That's really interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting things that kind of go because I was someone who, if there was somebody wearing really strong perfume or cologne on the train or really strong like car leather interior smells, those things would make me throw up and have headaches. So I'm like really sensitive to that stuff. But that tends to be certain really obnoxious perfumes and colognes that people
They,
buy
they
at
usually
brunch
come in a blue
tables.
bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually come in a blue bottle. Jeremy Fragrance usually likes them.
Is that his thing? I didn't know that that was his thing.
he
He likes
likes
shitty
he
fragrances.
really that's the hilarious thing is that he's got awful taste.
I
Like
didn't know that.
he likes like Creed Aventus and like Sauvage by Johnny Depp and like all of these horrible fucking things. And like all the ones that come in like, really cheesy bottles like, oh, this one's a
This
gold
one looks like a
bar.
fist. Yeah.
This one looks like a fist, yeah. But as I started getting into fragrances, I started being able to pick up on little softer notes and blends, and to the point where I could walk down the street and recognize flowers that were on the air that were actual flowers, and that
Wow.
is not something I was ever able to do before. So it's just really, and I feel like it's made me a better um, better at cooking and isolating flavors in that way too. Just being able to kind of be mindful of specific sensory input instead of being overwhelmed. It's like it's really interesting. It's fun.
I
Something. Go ahead.
my only experience it very much reminds me of because I never had much of a food palate. Like I was never like I never I enjoyed food, but I never was able to like think critically about flavors, or it was just kind of like, and I've had trouble with like not eating disorder, but like some amount of disordered eating where it's like hard for me to like meal plan and stuff like that. And one thing that I think really helped me is, and I may have mentioned this on the stream before, but like I worked at an ice cream store for a couple years where we made like real ice cream with like milk and stuff like that. And
Nice.
the guy that did it was like he opened the store because he just got like, you know, way hyper fixated on making ice cream and everyone loved it, and so he turned it into a store. And so he's like crazy about like different flavor profiles. Um and so like even though it was mostly through the lens of ice cream specifically, like that job so opened my world up to flavor, and I feel so much like I can eat a thing now and be like, oh yeah, there's these are the things that are happening, rather than it's just like, well, it's good or bad. Like, and this is
Right.
what I might like about it and this is what I might not like about it. And it feels like such a very similar thing to that, where it's
It's
just
definitely like a generative skill. Um, it's something that you keep getting better at the more that you do it. Um, and so it's kind of like constantly rewarding in some way or another. Even something I've tried to carry over since the pandemic too was another reason was I was trying to keep up with my writing, and I've been working on kind of a travel like a road book, and it was obviously nobody's going anywhere. So I was like, well, why don't I find a fragrance that feels like it would get me to that place in a way? Um, so you find, what does Florida probably smell like in your imagination? What does
bad.
Iowa smell
Bad.
like?
Smells
Um,
bad, Todd.
or or you find a place where you're like, okay, well, this smells like, I think someone who would smell like this would be this type of character, and they would move like this and talk like this. So it can be very useful in that regard if you want to use it that way too.
Yeah.
I've always been interested in the idea of smell being so tied to memory. I don't know if I don't know how like the specifics on that, but I mean I know that's the kind of common wisdom where it's like smell is so like more tied to memory than any other sense. And it's, you
Yeah.
know, just the common experience of like you smell something that your like mom or grandma wore, and it's just like, whoa, you're like back there. And I've always been interested in it in scent from that perspective because I have a terrible biographical memory. So I've always been
Mm.
like, it's interesting that this is 12 months because thought about doing like, what if I did a different scent every month of a year, and then like I could smell them and remember better what I was doing because my memory's so bad. Or one scent every year and then go have a box of it and go back through and
It's good because you can also kind of like you can do that, and you can also kind of link like train yourself to associate certain fragrances with certain experiences. So like I have ones that I'll only wear on vacation, or
mm,
they
Yep.
are very linked to certain seasons just because, warm spices are good for the winter and people like, citrus or whatever florals for spring or whatever you want to do. So like it can really evoke a certain kind of like mindset of like this is what I wear when I'm going to the club. This is what I wear when I'm going to the beach, and kind of
Yep.
help you connect to past memories as well as like the feelings and the mindset of going to that kind of thing, which is really fun as well.
The the only thing that does suck is when you don't get to control that experience and you do the reverse. I had a little while ago, a friend passed away, and I was going to the sort of, everyone getting together, not like an official wake, but just everyone getting together is up in New York. So I was up in, New York for the day. I'm like, oh, I'll go to like Saks and Nordstrom and all these places, and hit the whole row. And I ended up picking up Killian's Angel's Share, which is like a very boozy, sort of rum, vanilla, a little bit spicy and ambery, very syrupy smell. It comes in a. It looks like it's in like a tumbler glass. So kind of kind of cheesy, but it smelled fantastic. I was like, oh, this is nice because I'm creating a nice experience from this bad thing that I have to do tonight. But now I can't wear it because I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
dead friend. This smells like dead friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's very evocative.
But I'm trying to reverse it. Where I'm like, I'm gonna go do something I know is good and wear it, and I will push that out. But it sticks hard.
yeah, that makes sense. Um yeah. So,
Not not Tumblr like the website. Like here, I'll just go get it.
Yeah, usually a tumbler's like a big glass. Um,
Like
yeah, any.
like a whiskey glass.
Mm.
Okay.
like a
So
flat bottom.
oh wow, unboxing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, some full size bottles. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's. I mean,
That
it's
is cute.
cheesy, but it's cool. I like it. Yeah, yeah, that's classy.
Yeah, I mean it's a great scent. And the guy at the counter, he had my fucking number all day. Um,
Yeah.
with the Killian, he was like, well, this one's made with cyanide. And I was like, all right,
All
it wasn't
right.
this one, but
You son of a
but he
bitch, I'm
he
in.
he knew where to get me. He knew.
Yeah, and you and I, Eric, went to Kriegler here in Chicago and had a very like luxurious little experience of like, oh, JFK wore this fragrance. Oh, this fragrance was developed for so and so.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of also the appeal that it's like, a sample of a fragrance can be like $3. Like one of these just by itself could be like $3 or $4 online. But
Mhm.
you get to have this kind of luxury experience for relatively cheap, though it adds up fucking quick,
yeah.
which is part of what makes it so like enticing, I think, too. That it's like doesn't feel as like you know grimy as a lot of other kind of like luxury adjacent
Well,
things.
well, it's like buying like you know a lucky bag or a mystery box where the difference is exactly what you're getting, but you don't know what you're really getting.
Yeah.
Like I thought that coffee thing I got, I was like, oh, yeah, I like coffee fragrances. What could go wrong? Everything,
Everything. You could
everything,
lose it. You could lose it all.
everything.
You don't like coffee now anymore.
um
Well, I'm excited to try them out and love them.
so
So
let's
Yeah, yeah. That's no, that's what I want to find out if I'm just completely dead wrong or it'll reinforce that I know that you're just stupid.
yeah, yeah, that I'm just a dilettante. Okay,
so
so
yeah,
so should
let's
we
start
dive in?
let's start breaking into the main event. um so this is I'm 12 months of scent sampler from Perfumed Court. If I put, can I get a list of them?
Yeah, yeah. I can I'll put them in the Discord in a second here and I'll also put them in the chat for anybody who's wondering. We'll probably only get through the first 6 months today. Um just so that we can spend ample time, talking about things and beholding Jeremy fragrance. Okay, so I just put them in the Discord chat, and I'll put them in Twitch right now too.
Oh,
Now that I can
perfect.
change tabs without my computer dying.
Yeah. These are just like see, this is why it's important to have someone who doesn't know anything, because it looks like you went to a fragrance generator website. Like those words,
Yeah, like what is that?
I don't know what any of them mean, and they all look fake. I don't think those are real words. Any of those.
Yes, it's all like so okay, so just going through this list, initial reactions, I've always wanted to try things by I Hate Perfume because they make a lot of kind of weird, wild kind of, they're a little more experimental is my sense of them. I haven't tried any Sergei Lutins. I don't know how to actually pronounce that. Eric, you probably do because I know you've gotten
Sergey.
some Sergei, and I know they make some really wild shit like is that the Devil's Diaper one? That you've
Yeah,
talked about
yeah.
before. Yeah. So I'm excited to try stuff from them. I don't anticipate I'll like Dolce and Gabbana, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I that's not today though, is it? I think that's in the
No.
later 6 months.
Yeah, we probably won't get to that one today. So let's see.
So
I'm
yeah,
looking for this Ormonde Jane.
we're gonna
Ormond
do this
woman.
in order.
I think so. Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. It's January. Okay, where's this Ormond? Hermes. Jo Malone.
God, I'm afraid that they're gonna like open. I'm
I
sure they're
know they're
sealed
so
very
Yeah,
well,
so
delicate.
but
it looks like these ones have the little paddle arm. So get your paper out or whatever, sort of wiggle the top off, and then just glide some onto your paper.
Is this the one that there was a replacement that they did? Because I'm not seeing Ormond Jane.
No, that was the almond vibe or autumn
No.
vibes.
Oh, I
Autumn
have that one.
vibes. Yeah, that was the replacement.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I don't I don't remember what it was replacing.
Oh,
so
okay,
it's not a
gotcha.
twist. It's just a oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
little
just
dab.
wiggle it off.
Frederick. Where's that one? That's that. Just Gabbana.
Okay, what is this one?
This smells like someone in my, like this. It's like immediately I'm like, this is a very specific smell that I'm like familiar with.
So
So yeah,
kind of ambery, but sort of green.
we're putting
Oh, here it
the
is.
fragrance on paper because it smells different. I just learned this an hour ago. It smells different
Yes.
like on something. What is there a word
Yes, it
for
smells
it?
different. It kind of develops from the air, and then also it does
It's
mix with
almost
your
like
body chemistry.
wine, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and
Okay. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and this on the paper might smell different than if you put it on the skin. That just
Right.
depends on you, really.
Every person's chemistry is different. So some fragrances just
Wild.
don't mix with certain people's chemistry, like, and
And
yeah.
and
We
if
all
you
have
go on
certain
like Fragrantia, you'll see that as a common theme where people will say a lot like, "I love this smell out of the bottle. It smells terrible on me."
right.
Um,
Yeah, I've often had that.
Abby Go Round. These are from the Perfumed Court, which is just a
Mm-hmm.
decanter. Is that
Decant.
a
Yep.
Yeah, so
so
they sell samples basically.
Yeah, so
they're
these are not official insofar as we didn't buy these from the company. That the perfume court bought all of these bottles themselves, and then they just pour a little bit out for people.
So I'm getting some kind of white floral, right? Like some kind of like something
That's
in there,
probably
right?
yeah, it's like a jasmine.
Like a jasmine. I almost thought like are orris, are they white? Or am I thinking
Yeah,
of something? Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of an orris kind of.
The cedar is kind of what it's getting me. The cedar and the
Hmm.
sandalwood is what I'm getting the most of.
Yeah.
And the grass, there's this grassiness. Um, Now, a big thing is this is not super scientific, right? When you say something smells ambery or something smells green, you're literally just referring to the way that that feels to you. Um, so, like amber obviously doesn't have a scent. That's not a real thing. Um, that's called a fantasy scent. That's just what we've all told ourselves something gooey and orange and yellow
And
would
warm.
smell like.
Yeah.
It's
Kind of
like the
like when
Something
people talk about
warm.
like cashmere. Same is another one. Kind of like
it's
that.
like the flavor
That people
blue.
use.
Like everybody knows what
Yeah.
blue tastes like, and that is both a thing
Right.
that we have in our imaginations, but also a thing that is like manufactured in the sense that like there are flavors you've had that are blue colored and you associate it. So it's like right. It's like when you get a bottle of soap, does it have this flower on it, and what is the scent of that, or what color is the soap bottle, and then what
I
color
yes.
what scents do they put into
Right.
that yellow soap bottle?
Right.
I
And this is
had
very yeah.
I had a buddy who used to do some like biochem work, and he said, "You know who the most important person is at the yogurt factory? The guy that makes the label."
Yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
because when
You
you
eat
do a
with your
blind
eyes.
taste test, when you do a blind taste test, you tell someone, what's that taste like? Every single time they're saying, I don't know, chemicals. But when you tell them, no, it's key lime pie, they go, oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, especially something like key lime pie, which is so like when it's so artificial and like it can be gross even if you don't get people the right like note. This is
Um,
very like yeah, it's very like warm. It's a little mature. Like it definitely smells like
it's inoffensive.
mm-hmm,
It's the cedar is kind of the strongest thing to me. It's got sort of like a cozy chilliness.
mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
there's a fireplace inside, but you just opened up the door and the cold air came in.
See, I'm not getting that like coldness now that you said there's a cedar note, I can definitely pick up on it, but it's just
Yeah.
very like candlelight warmth to me. Like,
I'm smelling like it's not peppermint, but it reminds me of peppermint. See, this is the
That's the cedar.
oh,
that
okay.
It's like a pine tree.
yes. It's okay. The thing that's blowing my mind is when you are saying things to me and the scent is changing in my brain is I think the
Yep.
most mind-blowing thing that is happening in right now. Cuz you said grassy and bright and I was like, "Yeah, it smells like fucking grass." And then now you're saying different shit and it smells different. It's so
It's
weird.
crazy.
But
Well,
I
and
Yeah, I
that's the fun of it is it's going to be different for every person, and literally because of your own chemistry, it's going to be a little bit different. Like
yeah,
there are scents that like Chell, my girlfriend, will wear, and they smell fantastic on her, but I can't wear them. I would never wear
mhm,
them, but she smells great.
that's wild.
yeah,
And vice versa. There's stuff that I love that I know, like she probably wouldn't want to wear, couldn't wear.
right. Oh yeah. Okay, I am getting whatever the like peppermint. It's almost like peppermint tea. Like it's like a peppermint. It's like a
Yeah.
peppermint tea bag that's like been drained and like is just kind of giving off that slightly like kind of heated peppermint oil smell, like rather than like fresh, like brisk, like plucked off the plant kind of coldness.
I'm realizing that a lot of my like what I'm gonna get from this is probably really influenced that by the fact that my mom is an essential oil person. Like
Ooh,
she is
yeah.
very much like has always loved like she's very hippy dippy and kind of I mean she's also into like what is that that's when you mix something into water until it's like
Oh,
um
yeah. Um, and the like that it like cures the like cures like thing
yeah,
homeopathy.
homeopathy. Thank you. Yeah,
Uh,
she's I mean, yeah, she's into a lot of stuff like that. But, I have a lot of good memories of, like, just good that essential oils, that whatever that company is bad, and it's like a
Oh yeah, very
MLM.
MLM. Yeah.
Yeah, but they got some good sense in there, and that's probably where I'm going to
Yeah.
like that's probably like if I do have a nose palette, that's where it was formed.
Yeah, that'll be what notes stick out for you. This
Which
Well,
actually since
usually those essential oils are typically just one note, right?
right.
It's just like
Mhm.
this is rose, this is pine, this is so that's I mean not a bad like, foundation
Yeah.
to work from.
Yeah. Oh, hello, spirits or tryhards. Hi, Leonard Lau. Someone earlier mentioned Olo fragrance, which they have a yuzu bath fragrance that I reviewed a long time ago, and that is what the cedar note here does kind of remind me from, especially from the bottle. That it was like that was supposed to be like cedar planks, like outside in like a hot spring. So it's like
Right.
this like soaked, hot, like wet cedar, rather than like fresh cut, like dry, powdery, like wood chips kind of a smell.
I'm going to try
Like
and
it has like that
Yeah,
kind of
this is a
richness and
surprisingly dewy scent for having violet in it because violet's usually very powdery, grandma.
right. Yeah, and I usually hate violet, but this is not. It's not like smacking me in the face.
No, violet and iris, any purple flower usually is kind of to me. Yeah, that one's fine. It's inoffensive, um, pretty unisex, which is such a stupid concept, but and everyone's kind of moving away from all of that anyway. Pretty
From
much
gendering fragrances.
everyone just wears whatever they want, except Jeremy Fragrance. He's his
Right.
own.
He's very. If I were a woman, I would wear this and a leather jacket and da da da. We'll pull that video up later, but
yeah, I don't
it's
know if
like
we actually said we're that is the goal. That is the other thing, is we're going to watch Jeremy Fragrance videos today. I don't know if we
yeah.
actually
So
said
content warning, Jeremy fragrance.
that.
But yeah, I think yeah, that's another thing that's really nice about the fragrance world is like even the most like cishet looking people, like people mix and match, like wear whatever fragrances gender wise. If you're into fragrances, it seems like people are not too harped up on like, oh, that's a girl's scent or whatever, like because it's just the level of sophistication that you like of what's being combined here and the way things can interact with a person's chemistry. It just really wouldn't make sense to believe in some
Especially
binary
because
thing.
it's moved into such a it's sort of moved very nicely into the like grounding culture where it's like I'm just wearing this for myself. I don't give a fuck what you like. I just know
Right.
that if I need to calm down for a second, boom, I feel better now.
Hmm.
And that could be anything.
Yeah.
And I think uh, uh, more than
Like
even
the idea of wearing fragrance to like attract a mate is pretty much like that's more or less out the window. I don't think that
Hmm.
anybody really goes for that anymore.
Yeah, they're not on that incel shit.
that's good.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say this fragrance is definitely giving me though, like we've all just said that, but I always like then my way of mapping it is like what kind of person do I imagine wearing this? And this like gives me like sexy MILF, like or like GILF, like middle-aged woman who's like still got it a little bit. Like
yeah.
Like a fur collar.
costume jewelry, like my one grandma, I had one grandma who fucked, um, and my grandma who fucked I think would wear this on a date. But it's not like old lady perfume per se. Like it has like some notes that hit in common to some of the things I remember her wearing in the 90s.
It's
But like
adjacent to that, but like sexier. I
yeah.
totally see what you mean.
Um, bread hummus. I don't know. I don't think there's gonna be a way to know that without trying it. Um, but I mean, you will know quickly. Like,
Yes.
there will be things that you're just like, I hate that. That's not me.
Is there a thing
Um,
like I'm thinking about I'm also don't know shit about makeup, but I know slightly know about more about makeup than I know about fragrances. And I'm wondering if it's like cuz there are things with makeup where it's like you find out if you have like an olive skin tone or like is there a thing where it's like do people come down like can you be like I have this kind of skin and so it responds like this to these kinds of fragrances or is it just too complicated?
I don't think there's a
y-
language for that, but
yeah.
I've definitely in my mind likened it to I'm an olive, I wear this, I'm a warm, like I look good with these kind of color tones. Like I've definitely, in my mind, it ends up like, because I know like, okay, warm, spicy things almost always work really well with my chemistry. And like part of how I got onto that was I just thought back to what did I wear in high school, and it was Revlon's Fire and Ice, which is like very warm, vanilla, musk, ambery. It would have been back in the day called an Oriental, which we're moving away from that, which is good.
That is good.
Um, and that was a good roadmap for me figuring out what other scents to start with, like in my little scent map. So I think, but I don't think we have a language for like, oh, you're a warm, you're a cool. But I bet those things would be pretty correlated actually. Um, like in people's what colors they like to wear and like fashion and things like that is my gut. I bet those things would somehow correlate, but I don't know.
Um, and it's, I mean, if we were talking about, the sort of the makeup analogy, it's it's really going to depend on what you want out of the fragrance, the same way you might want something different out of your makeup. Is this something that you're just wearing to the office, or is it something you're wearing at the club? Um, like, I think the first Discovery set I bought was Imaginary Authors, a house out of, I think they're out of Portland. And there's, they had one called City on Fire. And it was like,
Mm.
oh yeah, this just smells like burnt wood and tire rubber. And I was like, I would never wear this. It smells like absolute shit, but it smells like the thing they said it smells like, and that's interesting.
Right.
So, so you're getting something out of it, but it's always going to be different.
Yeah. And that's a good point with the makeup analogy because sometimes you want to conceal things, sometimes you want to play things up. Some people want a natural beauty or whatever. And some people want to have I said garlic, sparkles and garlands all over their face. And I think that's true. Like that one, there's one scent that's supposed, You by Glossier, that it's supposed to just be like what human beings smell like, but amplified so people can't even tell you're wearing a fragrance. And I tried that and it smelled like baby vomit to me. It was awful. you know, like
Yeah,
I I I,
there there's a
uh,
uh,
I do wonder about when we're talking about chemistry and stuff. Is it is fragrance? And I guess this is just human experience, but like, is fragrance like different? Is that only a subjective reaction, or is it chemically different in your nose? But I mean I guess that's just like, do we see the same colors kind of thing. I don't know if that's really knowable, but
right.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of notes like you can't because it is like Eric was saying with the fantasy scent. Like a lot of things are not like verifiable. Of like, oh, there's definitely a note of this in here, but you could say like, oh, there's these particles that tend to evoke this for X number of people or
There's
something like that.
right.
there's a reason there's a reason why some scents are regional. Like there are times where Gucci has a scent uh, in America that doesn't go to the UK, and vice versa, because it's a lot of it is dependent on like a shared language, a shared understanding of what we think things are. Like you know, if you buy a Coca-Cola in Nepal, it's like a honey drink. It's a totally different thing. But that's what their idea of Coca-Cola is because their palate just says that what we drink is like too spicy and weird. Um, so it's a different understanding usually.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like some universal qualifiers, like a rose always smells like a rose. But then you can start getting into the weeds of like, is this a fresh rose? Is this a powdery rose? Is this a Turkish rose or a Damascus rose?
Is it rose oil? Is it from? Are you in a culture where people use roses in cooking? Like,
Like I find that I like very sweet and jammy roses. Anytime it says a jammy rose, you can expect something like a little more candied, and that's what I like in a rose. To me, like a dry, fresh rose smells like a scratch and sniff.
whereas I love a powdery rose. So like, Etat Libre de Oranges. Was it 500 years or 1,000 years? I think it's 500 years. But that one is like
Yes.
it's like dried cocoa powder, dried rose, spices. It's like it's kind of I think Turkish kind of influenced like and it's so delectable to me. But that is a dry it's like you're doing the cinnamon challenge but with like cocoa powder and like rose dust. You're like when you wear that shit. But it's good. To me that is good to smell.
Do we wanna move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go
Yeah,
to
for
Joe
sure.
Malone, Myrrh and Tonka. I'm excited
So
for this one because I know I like
see,
Tonka.
see, I am not because I'm pretty sure Joe Malone is a British house, and for whatever reason, I just have found I do not like British fragrances.
You can smell the
Interesting.
turfiness.
There's something. Okay, so
All
Okay,
right.
and also
right off
that
right off the bat, this might be my jam. I might hate it. It looks like the top note is lavender, and that can be super overpowering.
Mm. Ooh. Oh shit. Oh yeah. I already know I love this. I can guess just that warm vanilla almond shit going on.
warm vanilla.
Oh yes.
See, this is just cough syrup.
Oh
Yeah, that is a that smells like it very much smells chemically to me right off the bat. Is
La-
my very first.
lavender, and I'm smelling the other stuff come up, but lavender is always
ooh
to me gonna be very cold. It's sort of like surrounds the back of your nostril in a weird way.
ooh.
This is opening up to me. I am smelling more
The
now.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
myrrh,
How the smells develop is so interesting.
the myrrh is coming in kind of the middle in a nice way. It's got kind of like a sweetness.
And there's it's really balsamic, like for like something with a lot of vanilla and those kind of warm
Yeah,
things. It also has this like acidity, like the sour acidity to it.
that's definitely the myrrh. Myrrh and
Yeah,
vanilla is gonna give you like a syrupiness.
yeah. So it's got and we've talked about this before, Eric, how there's like almost like parts of your nose that you smell certain things in.
Yeah.
And so it's
Mm.
like I'm getting the vanilla on the top and then the tonka, that kind of like those warm smells, and then the sourness of the balsamic kind of note on the bottom. So it's like both registers. Not so much in the middle.
Yeah, the middle's kind of dead, but
What is
and
Tonka?
and
Is
th-
that not a truck? Not a toy
It's like a
truck?
bean. It's like a warm bean. Um, I tend to like a lot of like Tonka fragrances.
same. There was a Guerlain did a Shalimar last year that focused on Tonka that was really nice.
It's kind of like tobacco-y and almondy. It's like a plant. It looks like from Central and South America.
So it's a flavor usually. Like
Um,
yeah, it's for our
I
says there's a posh donut shop near me that does Tonka donuts. Buy them every single time.
wow. I did not. Okay, so I didn't know you could eat Tonka. So
Okay,
that's
so that's
very
not
interesting.
normally it's not a food thing.
I've only encountered it in fragrances. Like one of the first like male colognes that I bought, that was Elixir Black from. They used to sell it at Bath and Body Works of all things, but it had this really nice Tonka note that made it not just smell like a barbershop cologne. You know, made it smell a little more warm.
I feel
And
like
it's a smell, it's a note that's often interchangeable. it can be used in fantasy notes sometimes. Like anytime you see a note that says, well, first off, anytime you see a fragrance that says accord, and accord is something that doesn't exist. They're trying to combine two or three different scents to make something smell like a thing. So if you see like Fruit Loop Accord, obviously they didn't go get a bowl of Fruit Loops and somehow infuse it. They just layered five other things until they said, yeah, that's what Fruit Loops smell like.
Mm.
And tonka bean is used a lot whenever you see the note bitter almond, because bitter almond
Mm.
is actually poisonous. You can't smell it, you can't go near it. But if you wanted to capture that idea, tonka bean gets you there.
Mm.
Lennart Lau says at least here it's a food thing. You can buy it as a spice in supermarkets.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just in America we don't know how to season things with tonka very much.
Yeah, again, it's one of those regional things. It's probably something that we don't really fuck with.
Yeah. There's like I feel like this like it was really powerful and strong when I first was getting it out of the bottle, and I feel like it's already died down
It's
so much.
yeah.
I
But
smell.
Jo
Now I
Malone,
just
yeah,
smell it's kind of hollow. The sweetness is almost all gone.
yes,
I'm
yeah,
having trouble getting the liquid. I feel like on the paper with this little guy.
yeah. I ended up just like tipping some of the bottle is what I
Okay.
ended up doing because it does not get much. Like a spray is so much better because then you can have it dissipating on the air a little bit, which is
Yeah,
it just aerates it better.
but usually you gotta get like I think at least 2 milliliters before you can start getting like spray.
Hmm.
For most decanters, no one sells a bottle that small with a spray.
That
With a
was more
spray,
than I
yeah.
wanted. Can't smell a lot more now though.
Oh, someone on Fragrantica says they get a little bit of a chocolate note, and I think I know what they mean there. It's almost like frozen dark
Like a
chocolate.
dusty, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting now that's dying down is like the inside of a fridge.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it, but not, yeah,
Not necessarily in a bad way, it's just, oh,
not in
this
a bad way.
smells like the inside of a refrigerator.
It's for
Yeah, you
our
just have like a,
Wikipedia tells me Tonka bean flavoring gets sold as cheap vanilla flavoring in the U.S. because it's legal to just lie on food labels there. Yep, that
Yeah.
sounds like America.
cheese food product. Yeah, a lot of the reviews say barely lasts for me, doesn't stay on my clothes or skin at all.
So this is supposed to be February, so is this a winter scent or a Valentine's scent? What maybe because it's the shortest month.
The shortest month. Yeah. I mean, both fragrances so far make sense as winter because they both have these kind of like warm, like Tonka, I definitely think of as a winter note, vanilla, almond, especially those things together. But this one is so like weak
And
that
again,
it's
not
like,
bad. It's certainly inoffensive. I haven't
yeah,
been like I'm not bothered by it.
no. But you'd think they could put their whole pussy into it a little bit more for Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Like give us some rose, give us some fruit even.
I could, I like the idea of who would wear this, and I can't for this one. I can't imagine who would wear this.
Some prick in London.
Someone with like a very dour but pretty
Someone that eats
face.
like Tonka donuts or something.
Like a like a librarian, like a buttoned up librarian.
But yeah, I mean it's okay. It's not bad.
Yeah. For these kind of fragrances, like if you're gonna have myrrh as a note, why not make your fragrance a little more opulent? Like I want to feel the full register of smells in my nose. Like I want my whole nose to be coated, and I want there to be more spices, and I want it to feel a little bit more
What is
Yeah.
myrrh?
luxurious
Well,
and
Is myrrh
timeless.
a tree or a bush or something?
It is. I'm just gonna click on Fragrantica. It's a resin. Yeah, so it looks like little like orangey ambery little crystals.
John Murr.
And that's I'm curious what the real answer here would be, but certainly when you look at, if you go on a site like Fragrantia and you look at a vintage fragrance versus a new fragrance, any fragrance from the 70s, 80s, you're looking at 30 notes.
Hmm.
But when you look at like this last one, it was I think four,
It's
five.
like 4 notes. Yeah, that's the thing.
And
It's just simple.
is it that, because a lot, you look at like Tom Ford Lost Cherry, and obviously the forward thing is cherry, 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 and that's basically it. Um, and a lot of fragrances are really just one or two notes now. And I'm curious if that's because the quality of the ingredients has gotten better, or if people are trying to get something different out of perfumes than they used to. Because now a fragrance will just be called Woody Rose because it smells like woods and roses, and that's it.
Yeah. I
Whereas,
think it tracks with like minimalism in fashion and things like that too, and like
yeah,
capsule wardrobes.
but then there's some pushback where like one of my favorite lines right now, even though it is also a very limited note line, is Gucci's Alchemy Garden, where the point is actually you can layer any of them with one another and get something totally different. But on
Right.
their own, they're usually just two or three notes. And one I just got a decant of was called The Last Day of Summer. And that's so evocative. That's so much better than if they would have just called it Amber Cypress, which is all it really
Right.
was. Um, so again, it's about that label, the key lime pie label. There's this
Right.
story that you can choose to tell or not. Like this next one coming up is Black March. That's interesting.
Black March Water perfume, which that gives you like I'm excited. I hope it's dank. I hope it's brackish. I hope it's nasty. You know, March is a horrible month. Fuck March. Like, and honestly,
Damn.
fuck April too. Even as a Aries, like it's just a terrible, ugly time of year.
I feel like being in Chicago probably. Anytime there's like melted snow, like there's like dirty
That's
dirt snow.
Yes,
that's what
that's
it
what I
sounds like
picture.
this is gonna be.
Yeah, and so I hope it is that, and it seems like with I Hate Perfume, just because they do make things that are a little bit more challenging like that, or anti fragrances, like maybe they actually did make a nasty one. So let's see. I need to clear my palate.
Oh yeah, we have. I
Oh
I
yeah,
I brought
yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
It smells like dirt.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
Wow, the coffee really
Thank you.
does. I
It
didn't.
resets shit.
I wow,
Yeah.
that is I immediately like smelling the coffee. I get it. I'm like, wow, I don't have any smells in my nose anymore. Even the
Yeah,
coffee
So
just
and it's
fades.
full bodied. Yeah.
That's wild.
so this is very, when we talk about that story that the name can give you, that
Oh,
Black
it's
March. This
oh
smells
my
like you're
god.
walking through a cemetery.
Wet dirt. It's bitter. This is amazing. It's
Wow, I
grassy.
Yeah.
really like that.
It's like the grass Jelly Belly, the Bernie Bott's fucking novelty disgusting Jelly Bellies, the grass flavored Jelly Belly, that like bitter, um, like acidic, but like in a grassy way. Like,
Like
oh my
if you
god,
pulled up a clump of grass, the dirt
Yep.
from that like wet, like if it's really wet
wet,
out and
fertile,
you just pull up a clump of grass that has a bunch of wet dirt attached to it.
and you can see the little beads of like fertilizer in the dirt. Oh my god.
I really
Yeah.
like
This
it though.
is
Like I would
this is
I
doing what it says. Yeah.
but it I like would wear this. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no
it's
sense of like what I would want on me a lot, but I like or what it
yeah.
would be
So you should
like.
take it for a spin.
Yeah, should I put a little on my arm?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get a little bit of a sense by the end of this, but then throughout the day you'll.
Yeah, see, I had heard of this house, and I had looked at a little bit. Okay, one of them. Okay, well, I'm curious what that one smells like. Uh, a lot of these, yeah, they're definitely trying to tell like a very certain kind of story.
The
Yeah,
the water or
this is refreshing.
the the what is it? The not water pressure, but like the stickiness of the water is such that it's like I can't. It's either all gonna come out or none of it is gonna come
Oh,
out.
like the viscosity. This one's
Yes,
really
thank you.
thin.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go. I got a little bit on there.
Oh my God, I just can't get over just how like bitter it is. Like, which is really refreshing after smelling two really warm scents. Like, it's really it smells like being outside in the rain
Yeah,
and just like mucking through, just getting dirt on your boots and like that weird kind of like nasty smell that like can cling to your boots when the mud cakes on it and dries by the door of your apartment or whatever, and then you have to pick it off.
this is I. Yeah, I really like that one. There's a word for that. That wet rain smell. Like there is this.
Petrichor, right?
Yes, I was like,
Yeah.
that's one of the smells that actually does have a name.
Black March water.
So here's their official description. A fresh, clean scent composed of raindrops, leaf buds, wet twigs, tree sap, bark, mossy earth, and the faintest hint of spring.
Mm.
Okay, so this is one thing. I have no conception of like what it would be like to smell someone with these perfumes because I don't know if I've like almost ever noticed perfume on a person without. Oh, another thing I meant to say at the beginning of this is I have a my sense of smell is also probably dampened by the fact that I started smoking cigarettes at 14 and smoked
Mm.
cigarettes like really regularly for about 10 years. I've
Well, have
quit.
we got the scent for you?
But like with this, if you smelled someone with this, would it be like would you? I don't know. Do you think someone without uh who didn't know like wasn't into scents would be like that's weird or like it?
It that
That's
might it
tricky.
it could be a presentation thing. Do they, are they kind of dressed up? Um, it's like if you saw when you go to like a French restaurant, you order escargot. That's a lot different than sucking a snail out of a shell in the gutter. Because
Yeah.
it depends on who is wearing this. Is this like if like Charlie from It's Always Sunny was wearing this? Probably not.
He'd be like, I just like smelling like dirt. But if it was like a hippie, like I could see this on like a real like linen dress art art school teacher with like wood bangles and shit, and you'd be like, oh yes, she's the dirt woman.
Because this is giving the same thing as like patchouli.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah, a
Cat
little bit
hair
of
everywhere.
patchouli.
Yes. It's that was the thing we were talking about more earlier, where it's very different on different scents are very different on different skins on different people's skins.
Right. And different notes will come out. So, to go back to the blackbird example, when you first smell that one, it smells like a cave that someone is buried in, but it has sage and incense. So, I would wear that, and over the course of the day, what would mostly linger would be the sage and the incense. So, the first hour, couple of hours, someone might be like, oh, that's really weird. There's like this note to it that's kind of fetid and cold, and that's kind of gross, but like, as the day wore on, it just smells like a very smoky, herbally fragrance. So I could imagine that happening here, or if it just
So
mixes with someone's chemistry.
now cat hair don't sense change depending on the person's skin and body chemistry. Yes. What how it interacts with you is going to change. It's not going to change the whole scent. Like if it's supposed to be a rose, it's going to smell like a rose. It's just with you, is it going to smell a little warmer, a little muskier? Is it just going to smell like rose and piss? It's always going to be different.
Which
Um,
note will stand out? Yeah.
yeah, like what comes forward the most. I was trying one the other day that was supposed to have some cherry in it, and it took about 20 minutes before I could detect it. It just didn't come out on me. I just couldn't
Yeah.
really pick it up.
Yeah, I have a problem with fruits. Fruits really don't, they just don't gel. It's like they're just kind of like sitting on the top of me. Like they don't really mix like berries and shit like that. Citrus
Right.
is more versatile, but
And that's also partly why we are doing it out of the straight out of the bottle and on paper, and then some of them we might do on skin, but we're limiting that because you know you only have so much skin to like.
Yeah, that one I might put on skin because I'm interested in that.
yeah, this one I cannot imagine being good on me. It's really interesting. Like it's really evocative. It smells like a lot of things that you don't think of as perfume smelling like the dirt, the bitterness, the grassiness is just really in your face. And so like as a piece of like scent craft, I love it. Um but I also know like oak moss always smells dusty and nasty on me, you know.
I,
And
it's
oak moss is that's a curious one depending on when this was made and where it was made. This appears to
whoa.
be an American company, and I think this is an older fragrance. So this might be real
Mm.
oak moss, but it might be a fake
What do you
because
think,
oak
Cooper?
moss is
Ooh.
illegal in America.
Right, that's right.
Did y'all see his
Oh, there's
face? He
dump truck.
did not
Yeah,
like that.
he didn't
Did
like it. He
not.
ran away.
He was like, oh.
He's like, never mind,
I'm
miss me with
so.
that shit.
Oh wait, no, wait, that wasn't who I thought it was. Who was that?
The cat? I get.
Oh, that was okay. I thought that was dump truck. I only saw
No,
just
No.
fur.
no.
No, that
Dump
was.
truck does get curious when I apply fragrances, and I keep all my fragrances right by him, which is probably horrible for everyone involved. But he always is like, he like comes out of his house in the morning when I'm loading up.
I understand what you guys there's like. This just smells good to me. Like I feel very vindicated because when I was talking about that 99% invisible radio piece about scents, and that was a big thing they were talking about because I think that's probably the most like interesting thing to someone just getting into it. How there's a bunch of scents that are like you wouldn't think of as good necessarily, like that people are messing with, and
Yeah,
uh
I mean gasoline, I would love, right? Like that's a hate it or love it kind of thing.
oh, oh, thank you for clipping that. Oh god, yeah, I'm so glad.
Thank you. And you let
That's
that
fine.
out loud.
But I when I was listening to that, I was like, I feel like that would be what I was into, and I was definitely part. But I was also like, nah, you're probably just thinking you're cooler than you are. Of like, oh yeah, well I would like the weird shit, but I like legitimately this is my favorite of the three so far, and I like really like it.
Definitely.
Well, but because those other two, even if you're not like a fragrance head, you've smelled that before.
Yeah,
You've
that's
smelled
true.
something like it. Um, this, ironically, you have also smelled before, but not. You don't expect it out of a bottle.
Hmm.
Um, and it's sort of amazing that you can get that out of a bottle. Period. Like
Mm-hmm.
that shouldn't be possible. Like that does smell like a black March. It smells like your aunt died and it's raining and it's pitter patter on the gravestones. Um, but it's a nice day and everyone's together and it's good.
Oh,
Right.
we
Yeah.
when we first heard Black March, we were talking about like like when the snow melts and it's dirty. But what this actually smells like to me is gardening for the first time. Like when you like it's
Yes.
like it's cold, it's kind of too early to really be doing outside stuff, but like it's like early, it's like you want to get out there early with the plants, and so you start in March and you're like digging in it, it's still really like wet and like it like that.
Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like getting this, like there's this way that like smell, like I feel like smell is different in the winter. I think it's just when it's
Mm-hmm.
cold, like you smell things differently.
Yeah.
And
There's
I'm
like
getting all
fewer
that
because
stuff.
it's bacteria, so like there's less bacteria in the air, so
Yeah.
there's less
Interesting.
smell. This reminds me of, I know some people mentioned Lush. It reminds me of a couple of Lush solid perfumes that I have. I think they're liquids too. Um, Death and Decay, which that one is supposed to be very funereal and lily. So at first it smells kind of dour, but it it gets a little bit more lovely and kind of delicate as you wear it. And then Curbside Violet, which is really an interesting one because it's violets and then it's like salty concrete. So it really gives you this like slush on the ground, industrial smell mixed with the violet growing out of the sidewalk, and so like it really takes you to a place, and it has these notes it's just like baffling that can be captured in a fragrance. Like, how do you make something smell
Yeah.
like salt on the road? Like,
That's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah, Cat Hair Everywhere says that I might like Fishersund, an Icelandic perfumer. Lots of nature and dark smells and some gasoline and paint mixed in. I also
That sounds amazing.
probably my favorite smell is leather, so that also probably I part of this whole thing for me too.
Oh, you might
What
really like. Eldo has a Tom of Finland fragrance that's like leather and like Lysol and latex. Like, it's like,
Uh,
to me, it's just too chemically, but it's like they really went for it, and it's
to
very like, yeah.
ev- every house will have like kind of a different way they do things, and you'll start to pick up. Like Tom Ford has a very specific leather. It's definitely a black polished car interior leather.
Interesting.
And it's like it's very fake and cheap, but still like kind of, but still sexy. Um it's You'll start to smell it in every fragrance of theirs that has that note. You'll be like, oh, I see where they snuck that in. Sure.
Interesting.
Um, so the and you can start to break down what kind of leather is this. A polished leather?
Right.
Is this what's the calf leather called? Um,
Is that suede or no? Is that
Suede.
just?
Suede. Yeah, suede leather is usually like like a fuzzier, softer style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Um,
Buttery, more buttery.
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. And I talked about this on stream because a big part of the reason I love leather so much is because I found my leather collar that I wear most often. I found at a Salvation Army when I was like 16, and it is a collar with a bunch of O-rings on all the way around. It is like very clearly a BDSM collar. But even when I bought it, it was like super well worn, and it like that like super worn like it always frustrates me when I buy leather stuff because I'm like, this is so nice, but I want to skip to it being having been worn 100 times, like 1,000 times. It's really, and
Yeah.
that's a huge
I don't
difference
know
in
if anybody
smell.
has the notes that are mixed with that.
It's not stinky.
No, it's like worn. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
the
very different
wornness of
quality.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
I was just looking up that Fishersund website, and it's like their website's like all black. All of their like scents look very,
Here,
very dank.
let me pull that up.
Oh, their
Oh yeah,
website does. Yeah,
this is the part in Sprockets where we dance. Yeah.
yes, and they have solid perfumes, which if you have sensory issues or you need to be mindful of other people's sensory issues, solid perfume is just really practical, because it's like a chapstick basically. You just rub it on your body. Um,
Oh, because then it doesn't
Um,
spray and it's more controlled. Interesting.
right. It's nice.
so
Yeah, and it's just easier to travel with for that same reason.
right off the bat, I'm seeing that they are using, like their currency and whatnot. A lot of
Hmm.
times it will be hard to get foreign cents in, and that's where you need to start looking at places like Fragrance Buy in Canada or Lucky Scents in America. I think that's out of San Francisco. A
Hmm.
lot of these places, it's the same thing as when you have to go to the Asian supermarket because obviously you can't go get Chinese broccoli, here.
There's
You're paying most of the price for the import, right?
Yeah. Oh, it
Um,
says Lenartlo says you can change the currency at the top left, so it looks like it might be.
Oh, cool.
Oh
oh,
yeah,
very good.
by the little flag. So yeah, maybe they do actually.
This is so my aesthetic though, like black on black on black. Ugh.
But with some
Yes.
like
Yeah.
nature. Yeah, it's
Yes.
very cool.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
they have a discovery set. Looks like $60.
Well, look at their art with their animal bones. This is totally your kind of
Yeah.
fragrance house. I'm gonna like bookmarking for
Yeah.
Christmas kind of shit.
Yeah, you've got me, Leonard Lau, you've got me clocked.
Yes.
That's great.
So since we've done 3, so we're at the halfway point, we should have a little palette cleanse with a Jeremy Fragrance
I was
video,
just gonna say
right?
that. I was just gonna say that.
So let me see. Oh God, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, this is okay, so again, what is our familiarity with Jeremy Fragrance? I don't know anything other than the memes. Eric.
Okay, so I was early in this. Okay, this is actually why I got into fragrances because I was watching this guy, and I have a mutual on Tumblr, Franz. She was really getting into this personality, and this was before he was really well known online. It was just like, look at this insane man who will just post like a 20-minute fragrance review video every single day
Oh my
to
god.
YouTube. Like he'll put like the top 10 scents for a woman, and like that'll be like a 20-minute video, and then the next day it'll be like the top 20 cents for a woman Valentine's Day. Like he's trying to juice the algorithm like it's 15 years ago. Like
Yeah.
like he's doing all the things that YouTube now punishes you for doing, but he doesn't seem to understand. As well as videos of himself like just working out and eating
Uh,
like beans, and
Awareness is not a strong suit for Jeremy Fragrance.
something has gone. And we can also look at old Jeremy Fragrance versus new Jeremy Fragrance and
Let's
kind of
start with
see.
old. Let's start with old. Let's
Okay, yeah,
So
let me pull up.
r-
Yeah.
right off the bat, there are people like one time I met Crispin Glover, and we were talking, and he said, "Oh well, like a lot of my audience like thinks I'm weird, so you kind of play to that." And I was like, "Oh fuck, you know that." But Jeremy Fragrance, you don't get that sense. You like I don't feel like there is any shtick in play. Like I think he understands he's playing something up, but I don't think he knows
Hmm.
what that is or why he's doing it.
Yeah,
that's
because he will. His caption will be like, "Well, for some reason, this gets a lot of likes when I do this," and it's like he does respond to incentives on some level, but
He knows something's happening.
yeah, there's something. He's getting stimulation in his enclosure. Okay, this is one of his oldest videos. This is like from 8 years ago. I'll put it in the Discord if that works.
yeah, I think that's perfect. Sorry you're
He
getting for chat. Sorry you're getting the, and probably y'all as well, the Discord bloops.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. All right.
Oh okay. Oh yeah, that was Cat Hair Everywhere who recommended that fragrance house. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So what?
I definitely
And this is when
misattributed that.
Jeremy.
Thank you.
Yes. Jeremy Fragrance looks kind of good here. Like watching his deterioration in real time, it's cocaine is a hell of a drug. Presumably,
Something.
something is happening. Fragrance, maybe it's just fragrance. I don't know.
Um, should I share my screen? How well can you see this for you two? Are you seeing?
I can see it pretty good.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah, this is early.
This is baby Jeremy.
This is before the persona.
Yeah, or the allegations or the
He's wearing
Oh
black.
in the
no!
country.
The allegations.
It's it's he told on himself in the weirdest way, where it was like, I had to have gay sex with this man to avoid allegations, and it's like, is that true? What is
Wait,
that?
what? Oh my god! So
He,
this is this is also 20 minutes long. So should just
so we'll just take a bite.
So we'll just
Yeah.
watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy, and this is not a fragrance review, but this is a top 10 cheap, inexpensive fragrances that I think where you get the most value for a small amount of price. I'm gonna
Shirts were
start
always
right
tight.
with this.
Yes.
With number 10.
And he
I
was a
don't know
Christian
if
already,
it's
so.
famous in America, this brand. It's called Super Dry. And the fragrance is called Super Dry.
There's always
Dry
little things like
Oil.
that.
And this
Things breaking.
smells like a cross between your own and your own intense. So, if you're asking me, that's a very good cross. And the smell you get out of this, I would say it's about 35% your own and 70. Oh my God!
What is this song?
65%
Like,
your own intense.
It looks like it's a cover of like I'm a Believer.
Rejection
Like,
of this fragrance
Yeah.
is also
it's like
Shrek!
a cover of the
bad,
Shrek
like,
version.
Really not bad. Especially while Your Own Intense got reformulated when it came out 2008, and I don't know, 2 years later it got reformulated, I think, or 2011. And this lasts about 6 to 7 hours easily, so it's definitely not bad. I heard it's discontinued, but I can still easily get it in the internet for about $40.
I have my
right,
methods.
For 100 ml, so
I
that's
have
still
my
cheap.
methods.
Number 10 spot on my list. So, number 9. Man, this thing.
Yeah, I would not
is
be
so
surprised if
cheap,
Jeremy Fragrance
it's, like,
informed me that he knew a
ridiculously
guy.
you know.
Whew.
He knew a guy.
4711.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up
Even
like a
Vintage
very recent
It's
one to
actually-
give us a full sense of the span of.
Yeah, I was thinking I'll skip to another part of the video, see if he
Yeah.
has some any closing thoughts, especially.
Yeah, he's very still here. He's making, some sentences.
Yeah, this seems perfectly understandable, which is maybe not the case always.
Okay, and then here's his morning routine video, which this is from a year ago, but he still has this one
And
pinned
this
at
is-
the top of his channel. So
And this is the road we're on.
yes.
Okay. What is Jeremy Fragrance's mentality when he first gets up?
Okay, guys, so morning routine. When I wake up, I start breathing.
Where did he go? Why is this like a horror film?
It really is. Hello.
I'm a warm hot dog, and it's all cozy and warm, and you need to expose yourself voluntarily to stress and get topless.
What is this little
And
pulse
while
in the
I
background?
shave,
Dum, dum,
I
dum,
already
dum, dum, dum.
do this.
The music is really
Start pumping
loud too.
myself with the dopamine, with the
He's getting the
endorphins and
dopamine.
stuff.
Fucking chair.
Oh god, it's like the drive. I think it's the Drive soundtrack or
It,
something.
it sounds
Oh
like
my
that.
God. Oh, I hope we don't get copyright struck.
Well, if he
again.
didn't, that's
And
what
the time where
I was
I'll breathe,
assuming
I
if he
prepare
didn't.
My morning tea consists
How does he
of
still have an
ginger,
account?
as well as the second one is a green tea guarana mix.
2 T's.
So obviously I'm not like a Navy SEAL punishing myself like super hard, but at the same time I do the discipline thing, and at the same time I enjoy every day at the same time.
Why is this scored like I'm supposed to be afraid?
Patrick Bateman, real.
Yes.
This is Birdman. I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Running into 40 degrees Fahrenheit water at 4:30 a.m.
And this is he's saying this is what he does every day.
This is what he's allegedly. And I wonder if
You don't feel like doing it.
I still do it.
The editing is immaculate.
Sigma. This is like when my exercise bulimia was at its worst. Like,
Yeah.
let me find furniture to work out with at 4 a.m. This is normal. He's even wearing the Bateman undies. That's right.
There are
Oh
gonna
my
be some people
God.
who look at this and go, wow, that's pretty inspiring. Where do you start? If you've never had a morning routine, where should you start?
With yourself, that you want to improve yourself every day. So even if you're in a terrible shape, you're already better than you've been yesterday if you just don't eat this type of pizza. You are your own enemy. Yeah, you are your own competition. So that's where you start. Even if you're in a terrible shape, you eat one pizza
I predict
daily.
Jeremy
That's your
Fragrance will
daily
buy
routine.
Twitter soon.
You
my
eat French
God,
fries
I'd love
every
that for
day.
him.
So you could say, all right, you know what? Now I only eat beef and vegetables every time I go in the restaurant. So you automatically skip the French fries. So that's already better than you've been yesterday.
He's
You can still show
he's very
you can still
fixated on
watch
weight
TV every
loss
day,
and
but
health
at least
and,
you're a little bit better
these
than
kind of
yesterday, and
things.
that's how you start. And people should not do radical stuff because this traumatizes you, and you said, no, I'm not doing this anymore, man.
You want to get fitter, slow and steady.
Yeah,
Slow and steady with
yeah,
the race.
yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Do it with time, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. for your
Sure,
time.
man. Kill it, guys.
What did he? Wait, what did he say?
Kill it, guys. Oh, this little extra peek.
I love his logo. is very good.
It's good. And he does sell his own fragrances, which I've heard are awful.
It sounds like it, yeah. And they're probably like expensive. I'm assuming because like he,
I mean, yeah, they're not cheap, Like, I mean, they're not the most expensive thing in the world. Like, a lot of times they're
But
a combo of things he loves.
he did go the full Christian arc though, from the black long sleeve T-shirt with the cross to the full pastor suit,
Yeah.
the televangelist thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that first guy had a guitar and he's like, "We love Jesus, kids," and then this new one, he's like, "I am Jesus, kids."
Yeah.
Look at yeah.
And he just gets a little bit more and more kind of severe looking. He will also post videos of just like, let me see if I can find one where he just accidentally breaks a bunch of bottles. And he's like really sad about it.
yeah, it just cuts from weirdo in undies in the middle of the night to well-groomed looking guy in a suit. It is a really good dichotomy.
And on his social media especially, he'll just post videos of himself just like dancing, standing on tables, smelling ghee, and like screaming, like, let me see if I can find the thing of him with ghee, because it's just really
Really incredible stuff.
yeah.
It's one of those words doesn't belong, but
Really stuff. It is
it's really stuff. It really is some stuff.
Among the content that exists, it really is.
It is.
He really is. He moved to. He loves Leonard Loud ghee. Well, you're about to see this video. It's his favorite smell in the world is ghee, and it makes him like come. Like, it's so intense.
Fuck! Oh, this is literally my favorite smell. You know what this is? It's ghee. I'm not kidding you. I was just working out, boosting my testosterone and everything. And I said, all right, what should I do as a video next? And then top 10 most complimented fragrances, best fragrances of all time. Oh, and then this title came into my head. Best smell. Oh man, I love this smell. Let me see if I can show you more of my fragrance collection. Like this, I think I show in the future. This looks cooler. Man, this is ghee. This is clarified butter. And the more...
Wait, is that really just the whole thing? Did you... And
He'll do this like, and this is also very an inspiration, for my anti-aesthetic style. Yes, he's German. That does explain a few things. He will just post like a video, like as he's filming it, like the wind will be blowing by, and he's like, "You probably cannot hear me, guys," and like, and he just kind of edits on the fly, like, "Oh, this position will look better," and then the video will just cut off. Like he gives like no fuck, or he like can't, give a fuck, because like things will just be horrible sound quality, things will break. The video will just end. He'll post like 9 videos in a day. Like he has that dog.
He's got the posting disease.
Virus.
Yeah, really hard. Oh man. I didn't say it at the time because we were watching something, but what was wild, because I put that Black March on my arm and then I drank water, and so I could smell it as I was drinking, and it was wild because it was even a different whole thing, a very good thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying it was a different hole because I was drinking. I was like, yes, that is how orifices go.
I have multiple holes that exist on my body.
Yeah. No, it can like interact with different things in a really interesting way. I'm trying to find the one where he talks about if he was a woman, what would he wear?
Lennart Lau, thank you to Germany for Jeremy Fragrance. Let's all thank Germany for Jeremy Fragrance.
And let's thank Miami too, because they definitely did something to him when he was living there.
he was broken in some specific way.
Something, yeah. He had an idea of what being an American was like in the way that Tommy Wiseau also does.
And he was right.
And he was right.
Selbach Yo says Jeremy Fragrance out of context TikTok page is also very good. So that's a place we could go to for some.
The assumption that there ever was context is bold.
With
That's
less,
also true.
Less context.
He's the shit poster, top tier. Oh, so should we go through the next 3 and then kind of?
Oh, come back
with the remaining time, just kind of Jeremy it from there. Does that sound?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, so our next fragrance is April, which is Sergei Lutin's Irish Silver Mist. So again, sounds very springy.
Yeah, Iris is a pretty risky one. This can be pretty good, pretty bad. I see clove as a note, so I feel like this is going to be a miss. But Luton's is always at least interesting to me.
I love clove. I'm kind of fuzzy right now. There we go. But silvery does not sound necessarily appealing to me, and mist sounds kind of cold potentially.
Just coming out of the bottle, I can smell what it's trying to do here.
Ooh,
yeah, it's silvery.
Ooh, that's weird. Wow. Oh, it smells like cucumber.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very weird.
Or like a Vicks or a cough drop.
Yeah, cucumber.
Cucumber, I did not smell menthol. At all until after it like took a second for me to smell that. But then it was like as much as I could, like most of what I was smelling.
Like camphor, like a minty, like you said, Vicks Vapor Rub or like a chapstick.
That's that cedar.
But it's so different from the cedar from earlier, where that was like a warm note.
Yeah.
This is just like minty, dry, cool, fresh. Gin and tonic. It also smells like quinine.
Cleaner, sort of like a Lysol. Not in a bad way, just like a cleaner.
Yeah. Like a really like vodka soda, gin and tonic kind of drink. Damn. Oh, I would never wear this. Fuck. Even though this is in April.
I would not wear it, but I would enjoy smelling it on someone else.
Yeah.
I feel like
for someone
this is a James Bond. Someone very suave or with
Yeah.
like a martini glass, sidling up to you next to you at a bar.
It's very clean cut. Yeah, suit at a bar, businessman, but like it's more refined than usually the fragrances people like that actually wear, which are usually your Jeremy Fragrance fucking Creed Aventus bullshit that sucks. This is like nice, you know.
But it's a little more old fashioned, I think, than
Mm,
that sort of blue bottle, Creed Evictus type
right.
of smell.
Yeah,
And,
it's
and, that, and
very
that's probably why we're saying James Bond as opposed to Jeremy Fragrance.
right. Right,
There's
it's
definitely something
classic.
kind of classic.
But it's also so clean that it's almost like clinical. It's almost antiseptic.
Yeah.
And not just because of the kind of Lysol alcohol note. It's just also it just feels like it's just packaged in a little cube. Like it feels like it's a little Minecraft cube of silver and nothing escapes beyond that. Like it's mathematical. Um,
But when we say it smells alcohol-y, that's not to say like cheap or, stingy. There's no sting to this.
Yeah, like it
right.
doesn't
Um,
smell like a cheap like it smells like you said gin, and it smells like gin, very much like gin to me, and not like a cheap fragrance.
Yeah, like botanical alcohol.
yeah, it's smooth. It is sophisticated. It's not something I would wear, but yeah, if I was in a place and smelled this, I wouldn't be upset for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you could wear this to like a awards dinner, a fucking like, fundraiser. Like a politician could wear this.
I don't like gin drinks. I'm a baby about them. They're like too bitter for me, but I would enjoy trying this drink and being like, that's too ginny for me, but I'm glad I tried it. It is good. I just don't like it.
Yeah, it would be like a digestive or something, like something that you could have just a small amount of to cleanse your
Mm.
palate, to just wash everything off your palate and leave behind this fresh herbal cucumbery kind of thing, botanical. But I don't think I could
Now,
drink a whole glass of it.
what um what the April part of it is not, I mean, aside from the iris, is we've got galbanum, which is like a yellow flower. And yellow is kind of a weird note where you start getting into more like grassy territory.
There
Like,
is
Mm,
a through line from this to the last one. Like it definitely
right.
yeah.
feels like there's some similar notes from the last one, just much more poppy.
Yeah, the sort of like story that Perfume Court was going for, like I'm getting it. I see this
Mm-hmm.
coming from the last one.
Yeah, it's like a winter thaw. Both of those fragrances are like what spring is actually like, not the idea of spring that is usually way more floral and fresh and sunny than spring actually is. Actual spring is fucking cold and miserable, but with a little bit more lusciousness, slowly coming and coming and coming. And that's definitely true for these last two.
It's bright and beautiful, but only in comparison to how it was
To have just
like last
dead.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's impressive and very well thought out.
Yes.
But again, I don't really, yeah, this is not something that I would wear. I don't think it would go well um, with my chemistry or with anything that I would ever want to wear or like what I would be trying to project. But oh yeah, it's just so fucking gin and tonic-y and so cucumbery and
But that again, great title. The silver aspect of it, like I absolutely get that.
mm-hmm.
Silver mist. Yeah. Is when we say that Vicks kind of idea, that wafting quality.
Yeah. Oh, apparently there's a musk and incense note according to Fragrantica, but I'm just not really. It's just so overpowered by some of the other fresher kind of notes.
Yeah, it's the iris, vetiver, and cedar. Those are both wood, so those are definitely kind of working together. The
I do get the
if
clove.
if the galbanum is giving it that sort of yellow flavor, then yeah, I'm probably getting a little of that. Sandalwood is usually kind of like a creamy, smooth experience. It is a smooth scent, but it's very icy to me, and sandalwood is usually quite warm.
Right. Yeah, I'm not getting the sandalwood like warmth. I usually think of that as like a warm unisex note. Like, and I guess
And
the
one of the
benzoin I can kind of get a little bit of,
Benzoin?
but
this is
benzoin.
one of the top like more recent fragrantia reviews. I like a word they use, austere. It is a
Yes.
very austere fragrance.
This is a severe person who balances their checkbook who wears this, but like he'll take care of you. You know, he's got his shit together.
D A
He's like,
D Y.
yeah, it's like he's like a fucking. I'm sorry, a Christian Grey type figure would wear
He
this, or
he
like,
he orders for you at the restaurant,
right,
and you're
yes,
always happy with what he orders,
right, yeah, he knows what he's
even if
doing. He's done his research.
even if it wasn't what you wanted.
Right, right, exactly. It's like one of those very cipher like toppy characters in those kinds of fantasies of like someone who has it so together. There's like they're not very human. There's no vulnerability. They're frosty, but cut jaw. You know.
So this is interesting. Our next one coming up, this Frederick Mall, one of the notes is actually cucumber.
Wow, they really knew what they were. Okay, okay, perfumed court. You're really daisy chaining
It's
the
that is
fragrance
that is
notes here.
really yeah, that is really neat.
So I'll put the next one. I
And
should have been putting them in the chat
just
this whole time, but I'll put the next one in the chat.
just opening the bottle, I'm definitely getting that watery.
En passant is a that's a
Yeah, what does that mean?
that's a fencing thing, right? Am I-
Oh yeah, is it like a position or like a move? I just smelled a blank piece of paper. Great.
Oh, this is very dry and interesting.
Okay, so this is May.
Um, very soft.
Ooh,
It's
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 lacy.
lilac. Yeah, lilac.
Wow, yeah, this is very floral, very delicate.
Yeah, this to me I'm getting
Very dewy.
there's a certain smell that I feel like real flowers have, like a flower shop. Like if you go into a flower shop and it's like there's this very specific smell that is very different from the smells like a floral scent that you would like a what you would normally associate with a floral scent from like I don't know,
Perfume, yeah.
right, like
Yeah,
or just even a
this
Or like
smells like
soap
an
or something.
candle.
actual flower.
Right,
Like the
where
softness of the petals. There's like a wet, soft petal smell. Like,
yeah, and I was gonna say
It's
even to the point where it's like almost starting to decay, but it's not that like it doesn't get into the territory of like Black March where it starts to be like I that's not what I would associate with a good smell. Like it's not that much, but there's like yeah when the smell starts to change as the flower ages a little bit, and there's like a lot of that smell in like a flower shop.
yeah. Like the
it's a
bruising
little bit
almost.
Mm-hmm.
colder than honeysuckle, but I definitely get a honeysuckle like experience.
Yes. Or carnation, honeysuckle, like, what else? Hmm, yeah, some white. Yeah, just like a white floral.
Okay, so this will be interesting. Let's see if we get anything different here. I do have a Frederick Mall Discovery set that does include this one.
Oh,
I
Oh.
don't I don't remember smelling it. So let me get a new paper and see if a spray feels any different.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like ooh, okay, I'm getting more of the honeysuckle like sweetness now on the paper. It's like kind of buttery.
Oh, it's not fencing, it's chess. Special
Ah.
method. It might also be fencing, actually. But what came up is chess. En passant is a special method of capturing in chess that occurs when a pawn captures a horizontally adjacent enemy pawn.
So in passing, basically,
Yes.
a capture in passing.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So it's the idea of someone walking by you and sort of love at first scent type
Right.
of thing. Like
Oh.
they've made an impression.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
it's
cute.
definitely more powdery when you spray it. Like it's a little less wet. There's more lilac in the spray.
That's yeah. I could see how that like when it's aerating a little bit more. I could see why that would be.
Yeah, it's just airier as a spray, which is normally what would occur.
Right.
But
But it's already so delicate. Like this is, I'm not like a huge like if it's just florals and it doesn't have something else going on, it doesn't, excite me all that much, but this is very lovely. Like it's definitely very springy. These are like, open-toed sandals in the botanical garden, like lunch date kind of fragrance.
it's starting to lean into a suntan lotion. Not not quite there, but it's in that neighborhood.
I
I see
like
what you mean there.
I like this one a lot. I think I'll wait to put it on because I probably will only put 2 on just cuz I don't I'm a, you know, one on each.
And when you start like really feeling confident in the whole fragrance game, like you can definitely layer shit. Like
Mm.
this with Black March would be interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely
Mm.
still it's there's a through line happening in this whole set, and there's definitely like still a connection to like a couple fragrances ago. Like,
Yeah, yeah, because the cucumber note is there, the wateriness, but it's completely different here. Like it's much more like just kind of structured and cold and antiseptic in the last fragrance. Whereas with this one, it's like cucumber sandwiches at tea time kind of fucking vibe, or like as a little garnish
Still
on a plate.
buttoned up for sure.
Yeah, it's not that expansive, but it's more like delicate and relaxed in that way. Like
This almost reads like the more femme version of the last one.
yeah,
mm, mm-hmm.
yeah, they're a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, like this, she has the sweater tied around her neck and it's tennis time.
Yeah, it's so true. Like,
And that they're gonna go
very,
have a,
very
a
good.
Pim's cup while they watch the horses.
Yes, and they're just dressed immaculately, and you know, there's something uncanny about them.
This is
It's like,
this is the couple that the funny games kids break into their house. This is that house.
right, yes, waspy, yeah, with this sinister kind of edge, because it's just too colored in the lines.
Wow, I just was
And you
smelling
and you
it.
sort of you sort of hate to admit that it's pleasant.
But it is, yeah, it's just really nice.
Like this is like a step parent.
Yeah. Yes, it's very stepmotherly. Sorry, what were you saying, Maddie?
Oh, I was smelling it on the paper a lot. It was hard. It was hard for me to get it on the paper before. I feel like I'm actually able to get it on the paper now, and it was I smelled it on the paper a lot, and then back to this, and it was wild how different it was. Like, which I mean,
It Yeah,
obviously,
I
but
I this is I feel like that one and the last one would probably overpower your skin a little bit. This one, I think your skin might corrupt it some. Um, like there's no way this could smell so delicate on a person.
mm,
Right. It wouldn't last. Like, and which makes it easy to experiment with layering because it's not that distinctive on its own. I think, especially on the skin. I don't think it would. Yeah. Aside from a slight kind of just fresh, clean, floral kind of smell that would stick with you and kind of feel very, again, just clean to wear. I don't know how much it would last as identifiable as what it is.
And so we're getting all the way into late spring now. So this last
Mm-hmm.
one is June,
Mm-hmm.
and these notes are very pink, all very pink.
Mm. The last thing I'll say about this one is that on Fragrantica it says there's a wheat note, which is really interesting. Like I could maybe get some of that slight like malty starchiness,
Yeah.
but I would not think to look for it. Like I wouldn't be able to name it if I didn't see it. So this is Guerlain, or however that's pronounced, Idyll. Idyll.
Guerlain.
Guerlain. Idyll.
This is June.
I still have a lot of that Tonka and myrrh. I got that one all over my hand, so
Great,
yeah, I got
great
that. All...
raspberry.
I'm gonna do some coffee. I'm gonna huff some
Oh, good. Good call.
beans.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so
Wow. Yeah, that is
fruity
It's
and
a
the
sweet.
it's a jump from the last one. The story is really kind of
Wow.
changed here.
yeah, it's
It's
like
so
candy.
much brighter. Yeah. Oh my god.
I feel
I
like I
really
can
like
smell
it
some of
actually.
the second smell is more candy or more floral though to me. Like the first smell
Yeah.
was like a literal piece of candy, and then now I'm like, oh no, I'm getting a
Yeah,
little
it
bit of the undertone is like floral is coming out after that.
right. Yeah, it's like very juicy. It's like yeah, pink flowers like like strawberry, raspberry,
Yeah. It's saying raspberry and lychee for the fruit
lychee.
notes.
Okay, which is also kind of like lychee and like grape are kind of close. Um, but lychee is more has more of a strong like more distinctive scent. Um, wow, yeah, and lychee is always so juicy, like, and that
But
goes with
one
the.
of the heart notes here is lilac again. So I can see where the line is going, but yeah, this one is so.
Mm,
Although it is fading, that juiciness is already fading.
yeah, it gets a little bit more powdery and floral, but it was just such a like slap to the face how just wet and juicy and alive it was compared to these more like anodyne, wintry spring flavors to get something so like just gushy. It's
Um,
crazy.
but
It's
when we're talking
delicious.
about something's fading, um, that's not that's not necessarily a fragrance being weak or cheap or bad. They are literally composed with what they call heart top notes, middle notes, heart notes, and then base notes. Um, so that raspberry smell, you couldn't make that last. That's too that's too distilled, too delicate of a thing to hold for like an hour on your skin. And literally, the way it's supposed to work is, a big thing they tell you if you spray on your wrist, for example. A lot of people can't do that. You're literally rubbing a lot of those top molecules off. You're crushing them. You're destroying them. So like that raspberry note, if you
Oh.
do that, it might only last a minute.
Oh, so
Right.
you shouldn't do that. You should do that's
If you're gonna do anything, just dab. So like I might spray on the wrist and then do like just that on the neck,
interesting.
but not a full. Never rub. Um, and heat is a big thing. So
Mhm.
if you spray this on in the winter, it's gonna last a little bit longer because it's not dissolving. It's not literally just heating up and floating away. Um,
God. And
yeah,
the
that
tincture of
the
rose
raspberry's
is really
almost
nice
done.
too.
Yeah, the rose is still there, and this is why I was talking about when I say like a jammy rose. This is closer to that for me.
Yeah, yeah, it's full bodied. It's not powdery. It's not a dried rose stuck in a book, which is always my mental reference point for kind of a dry rose smell, which is something that I love and like is very nostalgic for me. But this is more
This is like a
plump
rose candy, like a like
rose
a
water,
yeah, like a Turkish delight type of thing. Like
or that like a Flor. I think it's called Florida water. That like really cheap fragrance that you can get. That's like $2.99, and it's just like a
Florida water
bottle with
sounds
like
disgusting.
no, but it's nice actually. It sounds awful. It sounds like it would be Jeremy Fragrance's jockstrap or something. But
Yeah, it sounds like the runoff. Is what I think
but
of.
it's but it's more like it's like a really old fashioned perfume, like in the sense of like something that people would wear in the 1800s, so they would not smell like ass, and that you could just pour on
Mm.
yourself. And so it's really just like rose water, and like maybe a little like patchouli or something like that. It's like just not even a fragrance in the way that we think of fragrances. It's like a body wash almost or something. It's just like a refresher. I guess people like it's like what people use in skincare now, like a face mist almost.
what is interesting is that it has pretty much dried down to the last one.
Hmm.
Like it's definitely more floral, but that misty powdery base is there.
Yeah. Now it smells more similar to the last fragrance. That it's more
Yeah,
like a cool spring. When it
it's
starts out with this like lush, mouth-watering smell.
it smells almost exactly the same as the last one now, but pink.
Right. Which is such a funny story too, because you get like, okay, spring is like cold and dank, but there's bits of like liveliness and loveliness coming out. This is like that first really warm, genuinely summery day where you're wearing like your first cute little new outfit that you haven't gotten to wear yet. You've got your short shorts on or like a new dress or something, and it's really warm, but then it like gets cool at night
It's
and
like
gets kind of
the
shitty
air
and
is
rainy.
still crisp, but when the sun hits you, it's warm now.
It always
Mm-hmm.
those days always make me think of Black Moth Super Rainbow. Personally, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that band.
No, but
I don't know why, but probably
Oh,
just a specific association. But that's always what I put on
yeah.
on those the specific days.
Yeah, I have a lot of early fall, like back to school season kind of
Mm-hmm.
like reference points like that, where it's like just certain things smell like that time, like Parliament cigarettes and
Mm.
fucking Nine Inch Nails
Yeah.
music and stuff like that. Just takes me back.
Now that we've done all of them, I think. Well, I don't. Maybe I'll put that one on. It's so different than the Black March. Maybe I'll put this one on.
The only thing that I have that's even remotely similar to this is the Dolly Parton Scent from Above, SCENT, which is like strawberry rhubarb powder, really juicy, really, really strong. That's my like go to the club fragrance because it's just really, I don't know, just really feminine and floral and juicy and lasts forever. And this is like the
This
day wear version of that.
this is very
see,
different on the
on me, the
skin.
Black March one is getting it's much more bitter now.
Oh
Less
yeah.
soil, more grass.
So I can't really. I put so much of this one that we just did. What
Mhm.
was it called on? Because it's very hard to get these little bottles to do the amount.
Yeah, these are kind of the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard
these
to sample from
I
these.
don't love.
But
Um,
for the price compared to what I'm sure an
oh
actual bottle
yeah,
was.
sure.
Oh my god. Yeah, Black March smells so bitter at this point. Oh my gosh! And which one is this? I think this is Silver Mist. It's so wet.
Can't really smell the
It's
Black
like,
March anymore, but I didn't put that much on because I was afraid to do too much.
yeah, Silver Mist on this piece of paper. It's become almost like alkaline. Like it's just very metal, like
Yeah,
pennies in your mouth when you're donating blood, like kind of taste, smell. It's really interesting. I wouldn't say it's like appealing, but it's evocative. It's like almost vampiric.
yeah. Iris tends to do that. So that was one of the those coffee ones I got was coffee and iris, and
Mm,
it that did not work.
yeah, yeah. I can't imagine wanting.
And
I yeah.
I tried to imagine what that concept would be like. Oh, does this smell like a coffee machine or something? But it no,
Hmm.
it just smelled like bad.
That's an interesting concept, though. Like, I would like to see a mix of coffee and like industrial kind of smells. Um, but yeah,
It's
that sounds awful.
they they clearly were going towards more of a black coffee note, and that's super hard to pull off. Usually, you're better off doing like a latte,
Creamy.
laconic type of scent. Yeah. But yeah, getting a black coffee, that's pretty hard.
Yeah.
I
Oh
I
man, it's so. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it occurs to me that I wonder because both of y'all are writers, and I wonder if there is a interesting like if there is a pull towards fragrance for people that are like writers and interested in the word and like craft words, because it's like there isn't a way to describe, like there isn't a set in stone way to describe fragrance super well, so it's like an interesting problem to describe this stuff, like both from a specific like what are the words that specifically describe it, but also like the stuff we were talking about with like who would wear this. It's like, and it's like sometimes some of the metaphorical descriptions we were saying almost seem to hit more on the nose of what the scent actually is. So I wonder if there's something there.
That's yeah, that the
Definitely.
one thing that you seem better at, Dev, is actually discerning like single notes. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, that smells like jasmine. And I can get there with some prodding, but for me that could be jasmine, ylang ylang, or tuberose. Like I just know it's in that neighborhood. But I could tell you that it smells like an eternal summer. Um,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and that gets me where I need to go.
Yeah. That's what's nice about it as an exercise. Like, yeah, for me, I feel like once I've learned certain scents, I can really zero in on them like that. But it's also really cool to think about it in terms of fashion, in terms of setting, in terms of time of day and season, and like, and I love that about music writing too. And I don't know enough about music to be a good music writer most of the time, but like, um, unless it's about like lyrics or something. But here, that there isn't like, you don't have to know the chemistry to be able to describe how it feels in your nose and what it reminds you of and what the reference points are. So I think it definitely has a writerly appeal for
Yeah.
sure.
And it kind of seems like the chemistry is so complex that it's like not helpful place. Like I mean, knowing ingredients would probably be like, if you like had a better idea of like all the different ingredients and stuff like that, that might start to help be like a good method to describe things. But like we were like you were talking about the complexity of like the molecules like are coming off, like some of the different notes have different like half-life sort of. It's like it sounds so complex that it's like
Well, you
almost
need a
There's sort
metaphor.
of like
right.
I've found there's sort of like a Venn diagram of where a fragrance house is, and they always meet in the middle, where you have one side that is like they're treating it as a magical, otherworldly, supernatural experience. And then you have one half that is treating it as scientific, forward thinking, innovation. And then in the middle, it's always secretive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
and that's a very small niche that you're seeing come out is transparent fragrances where people will tell you straight up, these are the actual notes, this is how we blended it, this is how much of it is there. um, because are there's no copyrights on scents. That's why it's so
Mm.
easy to make dupes. um, like if you go on like an AliExpress, you can go find a Gucci Alchemist Garden bottle for like $10. And the only difference is it doesn't say the word Gucci on it. Same bottle, same design, same colors, same name, just doesn't say Gucci on it. That's the only thing that they can trademark.
How,
Mm.
how are they able to dupe stuff like that? Like, is it like somebody, like, is it literally like the
There,
formula is getting leaked, or is it like you can just figure it out, like backwards?
I think they
so
just smell
there's
their way to it.
Wow.
there's no there's a machine that will do it for you.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
Um,
wow.
Damn.
you can I forget what it's called. I have the book. It's called I think it's called The Secret of Scent. And it's sort of a book that a lot of people start with if they really get into this. Yeah, The Secret of Scent by Luca Turin.
It's the basic book for the
And
scent head, for the stink heads.
Yes. For those
yeah, this is
getting
actually
new.
like a pretty big one. Luca Turin is kind of blamed for when he says that fragrance is good, that fragrance probably costs like $20 on eBay, and then as soon as he talks about it, it's $2,000 the next day.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Um, the one that he really pushed into the consciousness was Nombre Noir, which was made by Sergei Luton as a perfumer, not under his company. He didn't have a company yet, but he was one of the perfumers. And the story of that perfume is so romantic, um, in the sense of it was made by a brand new perfumer who had never made a perfume before, and it was this beautiful fragrance that was so expensive and was made with such ingredients that the scent literally began to decay the second that it was manufactured. So
Wow.
nobody even knows what it really smells like, because it's never smelled the same. And it was a huge flop because it was too expensive to produce, and the packaging was so delicate that the boxes were breaking in shipment. And then the perfumer was so distraught over it that they unalived themselves. So of course everyone was like, "Well, I want that fucking scent," and it is good. It's a very good scent. I spent a lot of money on it, but it was nice.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, he talks in this book about some machine that you literally just put perfume in it and it will extract the notes out of it and tell you what you're smelling.
That's
That's
wild.
crazy. Yeah. God, I bet so many perfumers were like, God damn, like that was their AI art moment of like,
Yeah.
I have one of the most calibrated super smeller, noses in the world, but I can't ever beat a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild thing. Um, yeah, I'll have to try and find where that part was, but yeah, it's very interesting. Um,
And I had also heard with that perfumer that you were just talking about, because you had told me about that one before, and then digging
mhm.
around into it online, it's unclear how much of that story is actually true, like, or how much that's just like, if that person's even real, like,
Yeah, there is a lot of myth making to it.
yeah.
Yeah, did that person really exist? Because it was a Japanese, like makeup and fashion house, and it was, I think, their first foray into fragrance. And this person may have just been made up wholesale because they wanted it to be from a French person.
Mm.
So they were just like,
Mm,
"Oh yeah, this was made by old, Jacques Escargot."
right.
Um,
And that
because
would
that's
explain, like,
just nobody knew the Japanese for their fragrances yet. So they may have just made this person up entirely.
Right, which then you would have to kill them off to
Yeah.
keep people from asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh, this machine might just be a spectrometer.
That sounds
Oh.
that sounds very close to what it probably is. I bet that's it.
So
Yeah, I think that might absolutely be it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some video about how perfumers reproduce perfumes with GCMS. So that is, I guess, GCMS analysis, gas chromatography mass spectrometry. Is what that stands for. Wild.
So we have about a half hour left. We should bookend with some more Jeremy fragrance as we promised. And
Yes.
also I wanted to put out if anyone has any questions about fragrance or anything like that, now is definitely the
please.
time to voice them.
Yes.
Oh, you know what else
Yes,
you
well-
gotta do? I want to see if the Perfumed Court really did a good job on this story. So grab them all.
Oh, and smell them
yeah.
all at once?
Oh my god. Let me
Will
see if
it-
I can put them in order.
Will it
Okay,
hurt?
let's march.
Should I open the lids, or do you think they'll...
I still got my
That's
paper.
Armand.
So I'm just
I guess I do have my...
That's Marantonka. That's Black March.
They were just all
Not bad.
organized, and now they're not.
Which one's Silver Mist?
So you have the little papers. You were probably putting those in the bottle, which really... Or were you just...
Yeah.
No, I was using the little wands.
I just...
So now I have them laid out in front of me like a keyboard, so I'm gonna just do a line.
There you go.
Do you get it? Do you smell the story?
Yeah. Yeah, I smell
Wow.
I smell the winter thaw, you know.
I hope someone's
Especially-
clipping that.
Especially the transition from en passant to ideal, like it's like still kind of cold and icy, and then it is still by comparison so pink and lush and like juicy that it's like that shift is really interesting.
This is how Jeremy Fragrance started out.
Did a line of stink and just had something happen deep in his brain.
Something just yeah.
And then he was like, you know what would help me smell better? If I had an extra hole in between my septum
For the smells to mix.
from cocaine. So
Fragrance gremlin.
yes.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So when we do the next round, I think probably the smart thing to do would be to revisit all these first ones just to keep that story going.
That's a
I'm
good
really
idea.
interested where we go the rest of the way.
I didn't expect them to be so thoughtful like that. I thought they would just think, "Oh, you wear this on Valentine's Day. Oh,
Right.
you wear this, you know, to a music festival or whatever."
Yeah.
No,
So-
you can actually get each one building off of the next. And that's a good example of, a lot of fragrances are quite similar, but each one's going to do a little something different for you. Like Silver Mist was ultimately pretty similar to En Passant, but I liked En Passant much more.
Mm-hmm.
And we can also see how these stack up to our next 6 months in the world.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, global warming kind of fucks all this up. I don't know if this is even the right story to tell anymore.
Yeah. My shit is already fucking thawed.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, I'm pulling up some Jeremy. Was posted by Tumblr user Temple Grandin Cow Killing Machine.
fuck, sex, asshole, piece of shit. That's how you grab attention with verbal words.
You know who he?
Oh, thank you, Lennart Lau, for clipping the fragrance line. That's extremely important.
Oh my god, thank you so much, Lenarlo. Yes.
I pull up Google image Tom Cruise Magnolia, and
Oh boy.
that's Jeremy.
That's what he's
Fragrance.
like. I just watched that for the first time. Yeah, that's what he's like.
Oh yeah.
The cult leader ass, incel.
God, I haven't. I need to see that movie.
It's really wild. It was good. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a little something from a different stage of Jeremy Fragrance's life and career.
A different era.
This is from his boy band era.
Oh my God.
This is 11 years ago.
Sorry? Is this how he came to Earth?
The way he just emerged.
Oh, so he's just Homeland.
Wow. Like, is that a wig?
It's
It looks
wild.
It's so voluminous everywhere. It's like cloud stripe.
Yeah, it's very anime.
And the overalls, the course. Wow, he really thought he was something.
I mean,
Yeah, what's weird though, he doesn't look that much different, but at the same time, I feel like if he did these dance moves now, it would be much more terrifying.
it'd be yeah.
It's hard when you know what he looks like now, like as he's aged, like his skull has really asserted itself, and so you can see it lurking here under his soft boyish features.
You think he had any concept that just a few years from then he'd be smelling butter for millions of people?
Yeah, so this is this before his fragrance era?
Yeah, this is 11 years ago, and his fragrance era was 8 years ago. So this is kind of what he was trying first, and then he started branding himself as a fragrance YouTuber, and now he's who he is.
Yeah, this fairly reeks of like, you know, the European zeitgeist being like a little bit behind the American one.
Ah, yeah, because this does feel older than 11. This feels like,
Then it is.
yeah.
This
Exactly.
feels like this is a good 20-some years old.
Right. Yeah, the fashion, the overalls,
Tron-
the tracksuit.
Tron 2 probably had just come out.
Oh, that's where there's these suits, because those are pretty cool.
I love how this, like,
Damn.
this dubstep is like, you search dubstep on freesounds.org and just put it in there.
He just pasted it into the track.
Wait, did that say air shampoo?
Ooh, a little moonwalk flavor there. it's such a like pastiche of so many different things that he thought were American and were cool, without like a deeper understanding.
He's like a human SEO.
Yes.
But not a good
Just
one.
like me for real. But not effective.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's his own bot account.
Yes.
What is air shampoo?
That's the hey. He got you, didn't he? You're asking.
Shampoo.d. Oh my
You're
god, we're about to
asking.
go.
What is that? Is
Wow,
this
who
where
knows
he
what'll happen.
rented the air services from? Maybe this is just the air and car services. Okay. I
So
don't know
yeah,
why it's
maybe
called
that's just-
shampoo.
Like, did they sponsor him? What's going on?
Is it like a detailing company for for private jets?
I think you actually fly place. What fuel prices? I don't know. This is also like translated, so anyway.
Okay. This might be his If I Were a Woman video. Oh, wait, maybe I already posted it. Yeah, I think it's the one in the black bottle where he talks about that. But it's short, so we can kind of just enjoy it.
Hi, sexy ladies. Jeremy Fragrance here. Today we're gonna talk about the top 5 best perfumes for women. Number 5 spot,
For
we
woman.
got the Giorgio Armani C Intense. And this fragrance, dear ladies, is a gorgeous fragrance if you are wearing a leather jacket. So if you are this bad girl type of a woman, imagine the gorgeous Gigi Hadid in a black leather jacket. I imagine her wearing this, a very seductive, dear ladies, fragrance. It's very seductive that you smell. It smells very much like you want to have a little bit of the hair of that woman in your mouth. if
Wait,
you
what?
spray her hair with this fragrance.
Wait. Hair of that woman in your mouth? The hair in the mouth?
I would love to have the hair of this woman in my mouth.
Very delicious fragrance.
And she's
with a
definitely
touch
alive
of
as
a
it's happening.
cold touch
Oh, alive and
that
awake
adds
and
this
consenting.
leather jacket vibe. Number 5
Yes.
spot. Number 4
Okay.
spot, oh, a completely different one. This, dear ladies, is the Angel Muse. And as you know, dear ladies, the Napoleon,
It's not
one
in
of the biggest
focus.
rulers of the world,
He can't stop
was
moving.
so strong because he had a strong muse, his wife Josephine. When he dropped her, he became a loser. So that's how much the strength of a woman on a man has. And the smell of the muse, the Angel Muse, is very much a chocolate fragrance. It is a chocolate fragrance that if you smell it, dear ladies, you won't like it. But
You're not sophisticated enough
find
to
a
like
friend of
chocolate
yours, a
flavor
female
smells.
friend, spray it on her, tell her it's good, and then you smell it, spray it on her, and then you notice, then she notices, wow, this is strong, but you will also see that with time it smells fantastic. It smells fantastic if it's in the air, okay? And I think I'm going to open this button.
Jeremy Fragrance was
Okay,
just one
so
bad
that's
day
the number
away
4
from being
spot, a
Andrew
chocolatey
Tate.
fragrance with
It's
Yes.
all
I
right
know.
there
that
for
turns
him.
a lot of heads.
All right there if he wanted
Number
it.
3 spot.
He said in that other video,
This
don't get
is
too
Blue
radical.
Blue
It's bad for your health.
Versace. And
Yeah, I
He,
think he's
he,
had a
he,
few.
he went
is
right up to the edge.
versatile fragrance.
This man has
If you
flown too
want
close to
have
the sun,
one
and it gave him
fragrance
skin damage,
everything,
for sure.
I suggest you this one, dear ladies, because this
Dear
has
ladies.
the strength to last in the winter time.
He was,
To last
he
in
was
the
smart enough to
heat in the
climb.
summertime. It has enough freshness for the summer. It has enough richness and depth for the winter time. It is a gorgeous fragrance, dear ladies. Number 3 spot, Dylan Blue Pour Femme. Number 2 spot, Scandale, Jean-Paul Gaultier.
With the legs sticking out of
And
it.
this fragrance is very sexy. A very sexy fragrance, ladies. And what you have with this is an overdose of honey. An overdose of honey, and this is so polarizing, this is so strong, you probably won't like it again if you smell it freshly.
I gotta
but
learn these.
Trust the process that
And the
with
spins.
time, and especially your sillage, meaning if you walk around, the people around you will say, whoa, that's a head turner fragrance. This list is about head turners. These fragrances turn heads. Okay, so this is number 2
Help
spot.
turn your
Not
hat
their-
right
not
on.
their head.
Skandal.
Like it's like
And the
that
number
Mario
one
game,
spot.
Mario Odyssey. It's like
This is
The-
Lancome's
the Mario hat that
La
is
Nuit
mind controlling your dinosaur,
Trésor.
bro.
And this
Love
is
bitches that wear this.
very much a fragrance that has no specific character. I would say it's an overdose of a sweet floral gourmand.
Is that
It's an
not a
overdose-
character?
Oh man, is this gorgeous. I have to stop talking for 5 seconds.
Yeah. There you go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Get right in there.
Oh, yes. This is an overdose of sweet floral gourmand. Okay. What does it mean? It means basically it has a lot of notes. It has fruits, it has sweetness, it has artificial sweetness, it has essential oil free sweetness, it has florals, it has gourmand elements, which means
Does it have
edible,
florals?
yummy, tasty type of stuff. So ladies, this fragrance is for you that want to get turned heads, that want to smell sexy every
Turned
time, everywhere.
heads.
It is a little bit on
You
the
could spin it like a
colder
dreidel.
season type of thing, so it's not the best for the high heat Waikiki Beach volleyball type of vibe. I rather suggest you ladies to wear this one in the colder days. So that's the number 1 head turner fragrance, La Nuit
When he
Trésor
suddenly loses
by
confidence for no
Lancôme. Thank you,
reason.
ladies. Have a great
Yeah,
day.
I don't. I mean,
Subscribe, by the way, guys.
Wear this
Subscribe
when it's cold,
also to my
please.
TikTok,
Don't
also
sweat.
to my Instagram.
I don't
Love you.
like that.
Bye.
It's yucky to me.
wait, what? What?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's so good. God, so that
this
wasn't
guy's
one
like
vote.
watching a human train wreck, which is absolutely the vibe.
And y'all have not even begun to see it because he goes into these weird like rants sometimes where he literally was like he was on trial for something and he needed to have an alibi, so him and his best friend had sex so he could say I was not doing that crime because I was at my friend's house having sex.
What?
and then he felt bad for being gay, so then he became more Christian.
Oh my god.
A lot of things happened.
Well, there's like a priest or something right now on the internet that's doing that same spiel. Like I found myself watching trans porn, and you know, just like any addiction, the porn wasn't enough. I started having sex with trans people,
Jesus.
and that's why you need
like a ex-
Jesus.
But it wasn't like an ex-gay. Like it was more complicated. It was like way more confusing, because it was like, and it seemed like then he started like, and it's really
Jeremy
hard.
Fragrance is
how do you
an
describe
unwritten season of 24.
Yeah, because it probably all happened in a day. It was like,
Oh my
oh
God.
shit, I'm going to trial. I need to have sex with my friend. And his friend was probably like, I don't know.
Yeah, did he just make that all up just
Come
to
on,
have sex with
come on,
him?
it's for the trial.
Do you want me to go to prison?
Yeah. And his friend was like, okay.
You have to do this right now.
Let me suck your
need an
dick,
alibi.
or I'm going to jail.
And then his friend was
You
like,
don't do this, the
"Okay."
president will die.
Yeah, it's like in the invention of lying, where he's like, where Ricky Gervais is like, you need to fuck me right now or the world will end, and she's like, okay, like the girl from Alias is like, oh, Jennifer Garner's like, okay, because nobody can lie there, but this is real life, allegedly.
Yeah.
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 Oh, Jeremy Fragrance.
Oh, Jeremy. Okay, here's his life story. We can just watch we can just hop around on this one. Oh, wait, where's the chat?
So I'm born as Daniel Średziński, son of Kazimierz Średziński and Yolanda. So, Polish parents. I grew up in a German town and I was a tough kid. I punched people in the face in the kindergarten already. And I was a cool guy. When I was 10 years old, my brother got hit in the bar when he was picking up pizza. After that, I went to martial arts school, which was very good. My brother and I were sent to a martial arts school so we could defend ourselves. I did that martial arts thing until I was about 16 years old. Then I started to learn how to dance. This dancing thing helped me to get into a theater, state theater. So I earned money already pretty young with dancing and acting and all that stuff. Then I was already very
Then I
successful
learned
on
humility.
YouTube with making
I don't
dance
think he
videos,
did.
and I was scouted into a boy
Life has
band.
humbled him
The
many
problem
times, but I
was,
don't think he's
this
learned.
whole boy band
His
thing
life- his
was
life
a big
message.
He's just not aware
mess
of it.
in terms of, well, it sucked. I got into the gay community. I liked the attention, but I was not gay, and I still don't consider myself gay, but I had a lot of experience, and actually I do like the gay community. But it was a bit of a tragedy, and I did things that I did not like. Fast forward, I got bankrupt. I got
Just
tried to
gonna
do
say
with
that.
me, tried to do that. Bad stuff happened, but no life and death situation. When it got very serious I was an entrepreneur. I was financially broke, and the fragrance journey helped me to get
Those
out
are the
of
two.
this
Those are the only two
situation after I
sentences he
noticed,
said that have been,
wow, I can
you know,
make a lot of
truthful
money
and
with this
understandable.
stuff because I was creating
I was
my
an
own
I was an
entrepreneur.
entrepreneur.
I was broke.
while being totally fucked
Yes,
financially
we know
and thinking,
that.
how can I get out of this? So I was just having a big hobby in this in my little German boring town, and I got bigger.
What?
But I was always second best or almost the best. So I said, you know what, kick some ass, baby, I'll be the fragrance guy. So I became the fragrance guy, and then I took it really serious. So the relationship with the gay guy continued. It was a bit fucked up, actually. And I also had stuff with girls. And one of the girls, after I did not want to have contact with her anymore, just like many men are a little bit arrogant after they have sex with a woman, you know, she was very much in love with me, and she says, I love you, I love you, I love you. She says again, I love you, and I'm like, huh, I'm the cool guy, I don't care, just another girl. And then she writes after 6 months, well, you know what, I will sue you for rape. I said, what the fuck, stupid woman, not going to respond. And then we keep going, and then she actually tried to do that. So I called the police and said, fuck, this woman is crazy, and I had sex with her, but how should I do that now? And she tries to sue. And then they told me, the police, well, call a lawyer and tell them to them. And then I called the lawyer, and the woman said, oh, one of those kinds, the woman is pissed that you don't want to be with her. Well, I had hard sex with that woman and all that stuff, but I said, you know,
Hard
this is
sex.
stupid weird shit. It's not possible that any woman on earth that a man has sex with can potentially sue you for rape if you are not following her guidelines, meaning playing after a rule.
Why did I
Crazy
fucking
world.
tell you
So,
about one
and that
day
was a
away
time
from
where on the
tape?
whole world, this
Yeah,
Me Too
but he
thing was
weirdly
going
did
on. So it was
not
a
develop a
very
whole
critical time.
ideology about anything that's ever happened to him.
And actually, the woman was raped as a kid, and she was pretty tough past.
I'm guessing.
Why did the
that he
music
won
stop
his
for
case.
that
Kept
part?
going, and then she actually tried to sue me. And you know, I speak about that chapter of my life because it really hurt me and it really changed me as a human being. And I said, no, it's not possible. She's actually doing it. But I gained more strength than ever in my life. And I said, you know what? This woman tries to do that. I rather go in jail and I tell the whole world what this woman tried to do with me to speak about the truth and to make her feel ashamed. The truth doesn't have any sides. Men have sex with women and hard sex with women and all that shit.
Said it again.
Truth doesn't know any sides. So I became very strong, very strong.
Does that mean rough?
But then
Like, what is
the
hard?
weakness sneaked in when actually a letter of the police came in. He said, you know what, this woman says you did it. And I said, fuck this shit. She's actually trying to do it. So
Hasn't she
I
done
asked
it like
my-
3-4 times in
Well,
the story?
Now we're getting actually in a bit of a
I don't think he
tough
understands the
spot
legal
because
process. I
this
think
would
that's
include a few people that are pretty fucked when I mention their names, but I won't. But there was a person that said, you know what, you have to say this and this. So I said this and this, and the judgment didn't even came. Meaning I lied.
Wait, what?
And you know what?
What the fuck did he just?
yeah. He admits to lying in court.
Wait,
I need to hear this again because I don't understand what that.
I have no idea.
Well, now we're getting actually in a bit of a
well, he explained,
tough
he said the
spot
judge told him to
because
say
this
this
would
and
include
this.
a few people that are pretty fucked when I mention their names, but I won't. But there was a person that said, you know what, you have to say this and this. So I said this and this, and the judgment didn't even came. Meaning I lied. And you know what? This changed my life. And I felt like an asshole. And after that, I swore I will never, ever lie again in my life. Done. Okay, so that was the rape chapter. Before that, I had the boy band gay chapter. And before that...
Okay, Jesus.
So there you go.
I want to
That's the-
remind you, we only have like a couple minutes left, and this is what you wanted to end on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you say my life story, do you have to take what was that, a fourth of the video talking about like this false rape allegation? Like what?
This was like a big. It seems like it was. Like he brings it up a lot. Like I mean, you know, he's. I would say he's very transparent, but he's not because nothing he says makes any sense.
Yeah, I could not
so-
understand. It was like it literally felt like it was like there would be a coherent sentence fragment, and then he just sort of like, and I'm like, what? And then it's a different sentence fragment, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
that is the key difference right there. Andrew Tate got those charges and he fled to Romania. Jeremy Fragrance lied in court and got them dropped. And that was the
Yeah.
conversion.
So then he didn't get Joker-fied because he was like, oh man. And apparently he, you know, like he has this weird, like he's like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life.
I better just make a fool of myself for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like he doesn't have that anger in him that like a Andrew Tate MRA, and like even the things that he's saying, he's like, well, something did happen to this woman in the past, and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Like he doesn't have this weird ideology wrapped around it, and it's maybe that he's just not deep enough to even do that. I don't know.
Creating
goldfish's mind.
creating an alt-right fucked up misogynistic ideology requires developing an ideology, which is maybe too much for him.
He's not a leader in such a movement, but he would be a hell of a right-hand man.
Yeah, you'd think he could get recruited into this shit very easily because he seems very impressionable. Like he said, like, I just really like attention.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the Capitol riot shaman. That's Jeremy Fragrance. It's just like, I don't know. Everyone's paying attention though.
Oh my god.
Yes. And he's never going to tell another lie. Can't hear him.
Oh.
And then he became very Christian. So that's
See, there's another key moment right here in the chat. And then Andrew Tate had pizza and got arrested. What did Jeremy Fragrance say? He said you gotta have that discipline not to have that pizza.
That's right. If Andrew Tate had listened to Jeremy Fragrance,
Don't have that pizza.
none of this would have happened. And you know what? Jeremy Fragrance doesn't get into fights with 18-year-old girls online. He doesn't fight with anyone. I've never seen him react negatively to any comment. He will share comments of people saying, just normal human reaction, which is bafflement to disgust, and he will share that and be like, "Thanks for watching."
Subscribe. Oh my god. What a good human being.
Yes.
Not like a morally good human being,
No,
but an
but
What a
enjoyable
good
one.
show.
Yeah, God really popped off when he made Cherry Fragrance. Like, yeah.
Oh my god.
Like some of these fragrances, it's not exactly good, but it ain't exactly not good. Oh
So,
my god.
so Eric Boyd, what is your Tumblr? Because apparently Nightbot didn't like it.
Yeah, I fucked it up somehow. I'll put it in the chat. Eric Boyd. .tumblr.
That's
Oh,
it.
there we
yeah,
go.
Just
So everyone, please give
E
Eric a follow.
R
6
I
Week Story
C
also on
B O
Instagram.
Y D. Yes.
Yes, Eric with a C, BOYD.
Thank you so much for sharing this fragrance journey. I was a little bit afraid that I was gonna get into it and just be like, I don't know, it wasn't gonna hit me, but this was extremely enjoyable in the way that I was hoping it would be. So, and thank you for
it's definitely like that feeling of someone taking you to a museum and you're like, oh, am I gonna like make a fool of myself? Am I gonna get it? But it's not. It's a lot more visceral than that. Like whether you like a smell or not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you found some there were some in here that you liked and that were interesting.
Oh
A
yeah.
little bit different, because I think that's important for a new fragrance head to learn. Like, oh wow, you can actually do a lot of kind of intriguing things with scent.
I liked all of them to some degree. They're like, I liked all of them, and they're all really interesting and enjoyable. And I really
none of
liked
them were off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And yeah, I enjoyed all of them. I think I would enjoy any of them being on a person. Like if I smelled any of them on a person near me, I'd be like, oh, that smells good. And I particularly liked that Black March. I'm gonna look into that Fisher Sund.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like that would have a lot of stuff you would like. Sick.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching
that
this.
was really
too.
fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
we will do
thank
this
you,
again.
everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
We have another 6 months to break into, and maybe we'll
Yeah.
pick something else up along the way. Or maybe before we started streaming, we were talking about Eric. Also, another thing that he's introduced us to is remote crane games, where you can play crane games remotely.
Yes.
So maybe we'll do that on a stream sometime too, because I think that could be fun.
That would be really fun.
What I really want to see, so we'll have to do these next 6 months, but then what I really want to see is when Maddie picks up some fragrances, and then we get to see what she's about.
Oh yeah,
that'll be fun.
It's true. I got to get into the stink game.
The stink game.
Yeah, and then we're like, oh wow, you learned nothing.
Yeah, this sucks.
Your taste is wet. Yeah, no, that's a thing. It's not.
Love spell. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah. I mean, Britney Spears' "Curious" still goes hard. That shit still goes.
All right, let's check and see if there's someone to raid.
Oh yeah. Gotta share the love. Let me see who's now. Doesn't look like there's too many people. I see Jackal Pawpad.
Yeah.
That might be good. Yeah.
Let's send y'all over their way.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they're playing Max Payne, so
Good.
it'll be fun.
All right. Well, thank you again.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for being here,
Thanks, everyone.
everyone. Yeah.